Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the Sunday service. Thank you so much. I see David Hunt. Thank you so much for helping me out there with the chats. Just confirm that you can hear me, David. I see Miss Viz in the building. Tandra, welcome, Tandra. Country Boy Magic. Oh my goodness, long time, brother. How have you been? Jaden, welcome. How are you doing, Jaden? I see. Wait. Natecho V, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in, and thank you so much for connecting to Yogi. Amazing. Welcome, everyone. Settle in. Thank you so much. I hear you, bro. Thank you. Good to see you. Tandra, can you hear my music? Can you hear my music? I took over Eric's music. That song in the background, guys. Can you hear? Today, this is the co-host's anthem. This is not my. You can hear how demure it is. It's very demure. It is definitely not as noisy as mine and festive, but I love it. The audio is good, perfect. I am glad. Miss V saying happy Sunday. Miss V, did you even get to sleep? Because Miss V, I left Miss V. She was going to sleep. I think early. It was so late. It was so late in New York time. But welcome. It is 12:30. It is 12:30. It's 12:45 p.m. New York time. We started a bit late because I needed to get a few things done. My pastor is preaching and Pastor Goga as well. David is in church and he's also here. It's amazing. So Eric is going to join me in the next 6 or so minutes. He's ready. He's already backstage, ready for this conversation. But I want to take this time just to ensure that you guys are arriving in. Because some of you have a habit of coming to the Sunday service late and then you're like, Goga, you did not greet me. And I'm like, yeah, I will greet you today. So I have like 6 minutes to greet you before Eric comes, because once Eric comes, we get into our chat. Travel and foods, welcome. I hope you're doing better. I was told that you had been taken ill. I hope you're out of hospital. Sharon is in the building. Welcome, Sharon. How are you doing? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, RN2C. Yo, welcome, Sharon. Thank you so much for coming in. Tandra, this music is amazing. I love it, Tandra. This music is amazing. Guys, Tandra is the one who designed. But anyway, let me not take Eric's story. That is part of Eric's story. Let me not take Eric's story. That is part of Eric's conversation. Let me shut up. Let me shut up and stop discussing receipts. So do me a favor. The pinned link will take you directly to Eric's channel. If you're wondering who Eric is before he comes on the panel, you can jump on his channel on the pinned link and get to know him. Eric is my brother, is my friend, is a yogi. I met Eric courtesy of, Genesis and Joe Delaney, and it has always been amazing just, connecting to this gentleman. We are going to learn more about him when he comes on the panel, so that you can get to appreciate why it's important to have him here at the Sunday service. And this is the final Sunday service for the month of October, so it was important we wrap up the month in a very nice and very peaceful way by having a conversation on forgiveness, self-inquiry, and also a way how self-inquiry and forgiveness can be a path to finding inner peace. So yeah, it's going to be a very yogic conversation, very demure conversation, very uplifting, and very reflective as well. Right. So I think that is literally the evening in a nutshell. So if you have not yet already, connect to him on the pinned link. Share the live stream out if you haven't already. What else? I'm forgetting. Yeah, like the live stream. Like the live stream. I was always going to say double tap, and I realized I'm not on a vertical live stream. Yeah, double tap. I'm going to share his channel out shortly. Just hold on so that you guys. But he's very searchable. I think he's the only person on YouTube with that name. Just a yogi doing burpees in his basement. It's such a nice. It's a long name, but it's so nice. I love it. Like he's the only one. Talk about being your own brand. So that's what it's going to be about. Nico Poa, thank you so much for confirming that. 9 people in the house, guys. Thumbs up. You get Tribe Goga normally comes to the Sunday service at minute number 15, and then I will be struggling here to read the chats when they come in. It's like they're locked. The security guys have not allowed them in. Hey, Timo is in the building. Welcome. I like your shirt. Yes, this is me trying to appeal to Eric. This is me trying to appeal to Eric in my t-shirt. So I'm trying to I'm trying to be demure, but it's not working because I just had to get this. I found this t-shirt in my closet and I realized it has yogi written on it, and I'm like, okay, perfect. If it doesn't have a yogi t-shirt, I'm going to be the yogi, and then I'll represent both of us. Sabine, welcome, Sabine. Thank you so much, guys, for coming in. It's such an honor having you guys. Share the live stream out, guys, if you haven't already. I am starting in the next 3 minutes or so. Bad Files, welcome. How are you doing, Bad Files? Eric is also ready. Eric is ready backstage. I can see him having a glass of water there ready. And yeah, we are ready. Going back in the bush. Thank you so much, David Dant. I really appreciate you helping me out with the chats. Eve Hakika, welcome, Eve Hakika. Nice to see you. Oh my goodness, Optimo already blessing the chat with a super sticker. Thank you so much, Optimo. Timo, thank you so much. Timo is also from the Just a Yogi community. Timo and Sabine. So Sabine is the wife to Timo, and then Timo is Optimo, guys. The man who looks at the glass, half full. Timo normally doesn't say he has 3,000 subscribers. He says he has 97,000 subscribers to 100K to the silver button, and I love it. I love saying that as well nowadays. You have to manifest these things. So allow me to give Timo a blessing, because Timo blessed my live stream. My moderator is here now. I can start. I always get a bit anxious. My moderator is not on the chat, because once I get started, I need to concentrate on the conversation. So welcome, Helen. Nice to see you as always. Thank you so much for always helping my life, making my life a bit easy on the live stream. Thank you. So Timo, this is for you. Where's my water for Timo? Oh, here we go. Timo, this is for you. May your pot brim with abundance. Thank you so much, Timo, for the blessing. I really appreciate that. Timo is all the way in Switzerland. So yeah, so if you don't have Optimob, if you don't have Sabine, Optimob is the content creator. Sabine supports Optimob. So yeah, those are great people. Guys, connect to people from Switzerland. Like, Switzerland is in the building. So welcome. Helen Akoya, thank you so much. Appreciate it as well. Who have I not said hi to? I am ready. I'm bringing Eric up. I'm bringing Eric up in the next 15 seconds. It's already 10 minutes. The rest of you will find us there, because Helen is already on the chat. Anyway, so Miss V, thank you. Thank you so much, Miss V. I'm looking forward to our conversation. I know you wanted to ask me something earlier. Yes, share the live stream out if you haven't already. Do the necessary. Do the thing. You don't want your friends to miss this conversation. So that's why you have to share the live stream out. That's why you have to share the live stream out. You have to share the live stream out. What was I going to say? Yeah, like the live stream. I need to remember this thing of like it, because I always forget. With these vertical live streams that we've been doing, I forget even saying like nowadays. I was going to say double tap. So I always catch myself. I'm about to say double tap, and then I'm like, Goga, shut up. Goga, shut up. Keep quiet, Goga, let it go. There's nothing about double tapping on a horizontal live stream. So if you're on the chat, just confirm for me that my audio is clear. I'm bringing Eric shortly so that we can, let me bring him up in the next 3, 2, 1. So Eric is there. So I'm putting him in a small box there briefly before I introduce him. So you can see Eric is ready. Some of you know his studio. That is familiar. So today, Eric and Goga in the same studio. It's amazing. I'm in Kenya, he's in the States, and we are doing amazing content. And that's the power of community. That's the power of building community every single day on this particular space. Yeah, so Eric, my friend, Optimob is already saying, don't worry, Eric is keeping tab on the chats for the time being, so he's able to see each and every one of you. Hey, Yogi. Which Yogi? Eric.
Yogi, my friend. It's nice to be here.
Welcome, Eric. It's so nice to see you. I've always, it's so different. Like when I see you now on this live stream, and I'm used to seeing you on your live stream, so it's nice, and it's normally around this time.
This is the big leagues for me. This is like stepping into a professional atmosphere. It's funny because you said studio, and this is a combination office storage room that I've had for decades. It has running shoes from 15 years ago. It has books that I read 20 years ago. But you, my friend, you are a professional. And it's amazing to see what you do. And I'm honored, my friend, to be here.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor having you as well. Everybody is saying hi to each other. We'll start in the next 3 or so minutes. Thank you so much, everyone, guys. So as Eric is settling in, and you guys can see his face. Yes, he's here. Because some people are like, Goga, where is the guest? Goga, where is the guest? Some of you are already writing me private messages on my WhatsApp. Goga, where is the guest? Goga, where is the guest? We're here to see the guest, not you. I'm like, he's already there on the screen, so you're now satisfied. You're happy. Oh my goodness, Optimob coming through with the membership as well. Optimob, why are you spoiling me like this? Before I even start the live stream? This is Eric's amazing community, guys. I met Optimob courtesy of Eric. Thank you so much, Optimob, for the membership. I will give you another beautiful recognition for this before we start. Thank you so much, Optimo. Thank you so much. May your pot brim with abundance. We never take it for granted where these resources come from. So the best I can wish and pray is that may it always brim with abundance. Guys, if you don't have my newest channel member, Timo, all the way from Switzerland, grab Timo. Oh my goodness, Tandra, you guys, you can't be doing this to me. It's so early. Thank you so much, Tandra. This is for you as well, Tandra. Oh my goodness, Tandra, may your pot bring with abundance as well. We are blessed, and we thank you. JD, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. How are you doing, JD? Yeah, guys, connect to all these amazing people. If you're new on my live stream, just type Goga or host, and then my Nightbot will be able to drop your link. My moderators are doing an amazing job also, just trying to help me welcome each and everyone. So thank you so much to the new members. Guys, if you don't have my newest members, Optimob and Tandra, grab these people. What are you waiting for? Somebody asked me, Goga, what do you mean grab? No, grab means like you connect to their houses. Like it's important. You connect to them and then you get to know them. You will go, Timo will take you on a tour of Switzerland and these beautiful places. And, you will end up meeting, Zach's the dog. He has a very nice dog. Like it's a very lovely dog. You'll enjoy seeing the dog. That dog is a character, on its own. So you'll be able to appreciate, the work that, Timo is doing. Tandra is also like very creative. I was so honored to join Tandra's live stream on Friday, and oh my goodness, it was so festive in there. Like there was just so much music, there was dance, it's like creativity on stilts, for lack of a better word. So Tandra, thank you so much. And Eric is going to talk about Tandra shortly, because Tandra is just smiling on the chat because there is something Tandra is hearing on this live stream, and she's just beaming. She's just beaming with a lot of gratitude and excitement. So Eric is going to talk about that briefly. Yeah, so guys, if you don't have Eric's link is pinned up there on top of my chat. So when you click on that link, it will take you directly to his beautiful palace. I like calling it palace. Guys, we are royal. We are a royal generation, a chosen, generation as well. So yeah, go get see the palace as well. Okay, get see the palace. And then you'll be able to at least appreciate the guest. Without further ado, I'm on the 15th mark. Let me stop like yapping. I need to introduce my guest. This is my introduction to the guest. Hold on. I need to open his channel as well. Sorry guys, new laptop, new problems. But anyway, we will manage. I'm trying to get used to this new laptop because I need it for my party next week. So, but anyway, I said I will try it when Eric is here. This is the best time to try, when the guest is there, so that if it doesn't work, I'll be able to at least correct the problems. And Eric is my co-host today as well, so feel free to connect to the co-host. So today you are addressing Eric as a co-host. You see, Eric, look at my community. At minute number 15, they all come in. There's something about number 15 in this channel. They wait. I always think that they wait, they count 15 minutes, and then they come into the live stream. It's an amazing phenomena, like I've observed in my 2-3 years of live streaming. Alimatu Saidia, welcome. Alimatu, how are you doing? How is Kuwait? Genesis is in the building. I was just mentioning Genesis earlier. Diana Wangoi, welcome. Northern Starseed Tarot, welcome. Victoria Mima, guys. Now you see, this is what I was trying to. This is why I tell you guys to come to the Sunday service early, so that I'm not busy like screaming your names when I'm supposed to be introducing Eric. and then you're like, okay, you did not say hi to me. Now I have to say hi to you. So thank you so much, Northern Starseed. Alimatu is watching us all the way from Kuwait. Guys, connect to somebody you don't have. When you see somebody on the chat and you have never seen them, say hi to them. Expand your community. We are. I like what Genesis likes saying, that she's looking for world domination through her activities on this space. So you connect to people if you don't know them. Expand your territory. Expand your networks. Expand your community. And we're going to talk about community in the next. We're going to talk about community in the next few minutes. Northern Seed says, and this Eric may want to read on the screen, I subscribe to watch this live stream. I can't miss my friend Eric. Thank you so much, Northern Seed Tarot. Appreciate you as well. And then I see Bev Artist Kitchen. Thank you so much for popping in. Nice to see you, Bev Artist Kitchen. Welcome everyone to the Sunday service. This is the Sunday service. It is your host Goga, but today I'm joined by an amazing co-host who is going to help me, in this particular live stream. He's called Eric McCarthy. Just a yogi doing burpees in his basement. That is like the name he goes by on YouTube, but his name is Eric. So Eric is many things. Eric is a seasoned spiritual guide. He's an author. He's a certified yogi. And he's also a YouTube content creator, who has dedicated his life in exploring the depths of spirituality and yoga. I still keep having an argument with him on this issue. You can't believe that he's 59, right? He says he's 59. I don't buy it. I think he doesn't look a day over 40. He has spent decades studying and dual philosophy and self-inquiry, including authoring 2 insightful books. We are going to talk about this. There is one book called Think of This as a Headless Path, and we also have the Tao of Distance, and among other works. I know he has recently started a blog as well that he may want to talk about. Now, through this channel of his, he fosters a respectful community and shares profound reflections, helping others unlock inner peace and explore paths to self-forgiveness. His unique approach blends ancient wisdom with modern day insights, making spirituality accessible and transformative for seekers worldwide. So thank you so much, guys, for joining this live stream. I hope you end up discovering some of the tips of the power of introspection, forgiveness, and how it can lead you to a space of inner peace. Eric, without further ado, welcome to my community. Please introduce yourself to these amazing people.
Hello, my friend Goga.
Hello.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you so much. I mentioned to Goga backstage how professional this is, how professional he is, and what a great learning opportunity it is just to be here and see how it's done.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you say co-host, and you welcome me in. Let me know that I belong. It's a great honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for also being here. Eric, I know we've been planning this for over a month, so I'm so honored to actually see you here. It's like a dream come true. I've always wanted to host you at the Sunday service, and just seeing you here today, it's such a great honor to also just talk to a friend on the same platform, and also offer my community at least an opportunity to get to experience the amazing person that you are. So, welcome.
Well, we started with Jo Delaney, the great Jo Delaney, her amazing journey. And she talked about doing a live stream with Goga, who I was not familiar with. But of course, supporting Jo, I had to come visit, and I was greeted. I came in and I said hi to Jo on the live stream. I was greeted like I was Goga's oldest friend in the world. A literal internet embrace from Africa to Maryland. It was absolutely amazing. And I knew I found a brother instantly. That's the amazing thing about community. And that's what Goga does. I have some figures in my life when I think about what I want to accomplish on my channel. The key word we always come back to is community. Community, community, community. The funny thing is, and I'll tell the story now, that after listening to Goga for several weeks, I said on a live stream, I need a theme song. Goga's got a theme song. Not only does he have a theme song, he dances with his theme song. He is exuberant, enthusiastic. He's just giving out love as his music is playing. The next day, our great friend Tandra sends me my own theme song, which we're listening to in the introduction. Absolutely amazing. So
I love that. I love that. Guys, I want you to just pay attention to this. I'm going to increase the volume up a bit. That is Eric's theme song. It's so beautiful. I love this song. And Tandra, well done. This is Eric. This is actually a reflection of Eric as a person, as I've known him. Guide us through the day, finding peace in moments, show us all the way, helping hands and kindness, spread them all around. In the heart of nature, love is nearly found. So, moral of the story, guys, Tandra is on the chat there. If you're looking for somebody to do for you a theme song, talk nicely to her. She's very creative. Talk nicely. Tandra is there with you guys on the chat, and she's my new channel member. Talk nicely to her. This is very creative. It's very professional. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. There is nothing as beautiful as having your own anthem. It's just a mark of you're taking your content creation journey to a whole new level. So Tandra, well done. This is such a beautiful masterpiece. Marlon, nice to see you. Tina Lee, nice to see you as well. Welcome, Tina. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Everybody's loving this song, Eric. Everyone is enjoying this song.
And I like to think that it's Yogi 24/7 because you can't turn on the internet without me doing a live stream. Sometime during the day. I'm going to be live streaming 3 times, 4 times a day. So literally, Yogi 24/7.
I love it.
If you turn on YouTube, I'm there. I'm live streaming. I'm talking about something. So
I love that. I love that. I love that. So Eric, once again, I think, guys, if you don't know Eric, just a yogi doing burpees in his basement. That is the name of his channel. The link is pinned up there on top of my chat, so you can easily click on that link. It will take you there, or you can just type yogi. If you're not so sure, he's my channel member as well. You can just type yogi, and then Nightbot will do the link. On your behalf. That's the beauty of having a virtual assistant to just help you do all these things. So you can type yogi, you can go to the pinned link, you can. Hey, now people, guys, stop harassing Tandra. Just connect one nicely and then stop harassing Tandra on the chat. She's protected. She's a Google channel member. So members are really protected on the chat. Everybody, Eric is just like saying hi to Tandra now after this song. Oh my goodness. Eric, it's an honor. You are many things. I couldn't fit them all in your small biography, but you are one of the things that I respect about you, that you're a yogi. You're who is very gifted when it comes to breath work. How do you want us to start this live stream before we start our amazing conversation?
I had mentioned to Goga backstage that I start every single live stream with breath work. Before I go live, I want to connect with my breath. Talking online, even though Goga mentioned, by the way, that I've done over 1,000 live streams, which I didn't know until he told me, which brought two things to mind: that maybe I talk too much, and that I love what I do. I love going live. I love connecting with people and creating a space. And the space is for whatever you guys make it. It's not about me. So I start with my breath work. I say a little prayer. And the prayer is always along the lines of, what should I say in this live stream, and whom should I say it to? And then I do the Om Shanti salutation. It's usually the closing salutation of yoga class or meditation class, where we simply Om, the creative sound of the universe, and then Shanti, 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 which is peace, so that we can create an atmosphere of peace within the community that we are all part of, all sharing.
Awesome.
Before I start, I want to give one more shout out to the other person that gave you the great blessing this morning or this afternoon, our friend Optimab, Timo, Sabine, and Bax, because I can't talk about community without mentioning what a beautiful community they have and they offer, that we all want to grow our community, all of us. And by community, I don't just mean on YouTube, person by person by person. And Team Optimab opens up all of Switzerland, the beauty of it. And today is Premiere Sunday. So if you tune in, there'll be a beautiful premiere from Optimab, and you'll get to see wonderful Switzerland. You get to hang out with Sabine and the Wonder Dog Bax and our good friend Tima. So I didn't want to forget.
Thank you for that. Yes, guys. Yes, we'll connect to that, and thank you for that. Thank you so much for that, Eric. So, by all means, you're the co-host, so guide us through this, and then this is your home.
Well, thank you. One of the things Goga mentioned was how often we disconnect from our breath, which is true. One of the reasons why I do my breath work before a live stream, I get nervous. Even after 1,000+ live streams, I get nervous. Am I going to say the right thing? Am I going to say it to the right people?
Me too.
So doing my breath work reminds me to let go, to relax, and that we're all connected through the breath. We're all breathing the same atmosphere. This isn't my oxygen. It's not your oxygen. It's ours. We are in the same atmosphere together. So when we breathe, we connect to the breath. The easiest way, where are we breathing from? Am I breathing through my mouth, high up in my chest? Am I tense? Or am I relaxed? My jaw relaxed, my shoulders relaxed? Am I breathing from the belly? It's my diaphragm filling up with air. So we can check in with the breath anytime, anywhere. Simply put your hand on your chest, hand on the belly. See where you're breathing. The hand should be pushed gently outwards. You might hear my cat meowing at me. My cat loves breath work, by the way. She will come in every time and join in with me. The chest should move minimally. We're breathing from the belly. So we're going to take, this is called an easy breath. It's just that. It's an easy breath. So we breathe in. Out. 1 to 2 times. You can check in with your breath anytime, anywhere. Now we're going to do where I start with before my live streams. It is the full yogic breath, or the 3-part breath, where we breathe in, deepening the breath into the belly. We allow the rib cage to expand, and we breathe all the way up into the clavicles. And we release clavicles, rib cage, belly, all through the nose. One more time. Once more. Then I bring my hands together. This is in yoga, it's called the sankalpa. It is our intention. So whatever your intention is after you tune into the breath, for me, my intention is, can this be a wonderful live stream in which we create an ever-growing community of absolute love, absolute peace? Can I say the right thing in this live stream to the right people at the right time? And we're going to offer the Om Shanti as a salutation. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste, my friends.
Awesome. Thank you. That was beautiful. I like how the chat is very calm. I always tell people the chat always mirrors the guests, and the chat is very demure today. It's very demure. Eric, I had to use that. I had to use that word somewhere there.
And mindful, demure and mindful.
Demure and mindful. I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Cindy Siwe, as well for the membership. I really appreciate this. Allow me to just acknowledge this real quick. So Cindy is watching us from South Africa. Cindy, I hope you're not trying to bribe me because I gave you some homework. I still want to see your videos. I still want to see your videos. May your pot bring with abundance. May your pot bring with abundance. Cindy. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that support. All right. Thank you so much. I like it. I like it. The chat is very mindful. The chat is very quiet. I'm not stressed. Like Eric, thank you. Thank you for coming to the Sunday service. I'm not fighting on the chat to respond to people today. I feel very relaxed on this live stream today.
I absolutely love breath work. My breathwork coach, I learned pranayama years and years and years ago, but it was a haphazard approach. And then through Yoga Body, I learned a very a routine of mindfulness, a routine of breath work that ties everything together. That there's a specific breath for everything, including stress. We breathe a certain way when we're stressed. We breathe a certain way when we're anxious. If you want to reverse that, we simply breathe a different way than we are now. And there's always a way. We just check in with the breath, and then we reintroduce a different breath.
I love that. I love that. I'm laughing at what Northern Starseed says, that cats affirming that this is correct. This is when your cat came in. Stassi, that's funny. That's funny. I love it. 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 Oh my goodness.
So my breathwork coach said everyone wants to meditate, but not everyone takes the time to meditate. It is a discipline. It's a wonderful thing to do. I'm a meditation teacher. Have been for a number of years. I teach Vedic mantra meditation, primordial sound meditation, as a Chopra certified teacher, Deepak Chopra. But you can get 95% of the benefits of meditation through 5 minutes, 3 times a day of breath work. So you get the physiological as well as the emotional and mental, spiritual as well, because you're getting in touch with your pranic body, that more subtle energy that we all share, just by 5 minutes or less, 3 times a day, and therapeutically as needed. And therapeutically is, are you stressed? Do you need help getting to sleep? Probably all of us at one time or another, if not now, in the future, I hope not though, suffer some type of issue with sleep. The breath will guide you to sleep every night, or it can keep you up. As soon as you check in with your breath, what do you want to accomplish? Do you want to get to sleep easier and quicker and sleep deeper? Then there's a specific breathing pattern that we can do. I'm always happy to teach anyone. And I always mention that as a professional meditation teacher and breathwork coach, I teach my friends and family for free. If you are here, if you are a friend of Goga, if you are on the channel, you're my friend and you're my family, reach out to me and I will teach you breathwork absolutely for free.
Guys, did you hear that? Guys, did you hear that? Yeah, you're my, if you know, any friend of Goga is a friend of Eric. So jump on that opportunity. Jump on that opportunity. Allow me to say hi to Lungi and Carol. Thank you so much, Lungi. And also say hi to Zelen. Zelen, thank you so much. Zelen is my sister watching from Singapore, and she's always very supportive. Zelen is the kind of person I call a a-Yogi, Eric. Because Zelen came here one day and said it was just random, because she's blessed. So she said, Goga, if anybody in the community is ever stuck at 900, just send them to me. I will get them to their milestone. And
Nice.
And she has blessed, I think, over 10, 15 people this year. And and I just tell you, guys, just go to Zelen and tell her that I sent you there. And it's been amazing now to see people are coming back and they're so happy. That she has a heart of gold, and it's from her heart. She doesn't charge for it. She doesn't even, she doesn't even care whether you ever go back to her in any way. She just gives. She just gives. She just gives. So I'm always so honored. Thank you so much, Zelen, for always being of service to this beautiful community. Speaking of spirituality and yoga, Eric, where did this story start? Where did your story start, like when it comes to spirituality and yoga?
Well, I went to Catholic school from first grade to high school. And I had a very close personal connection with Jesus until I was taught otherwise, until I was taught by those positions of authority that I'm not supposed to have that kind of relationship. I'm supposed to have a relationship with the church authority people. And they would guide me on my relationship. And that didn't sit quite well. And it started a long period of exploration, actually, that continues to this day. When I was 11, my parents were school teachers. And every 2 weeks on their payday, we would go grocery shopping, we'd have dinner, and then to a bookstore. And we were all allowed to pick out a book. And when I was 11, I picked out a book, Teach Yourself Yoga. And my mom, who never discouraged me reading anything, ever, looked at me a little skeptically and said, "You sure you want to buy a book, Teach Yourself Yoga?" And I was convinced that I did. And I proceeded to teach myself yoga to the best that you can when you're 11 years old. And I continued practicing, exploring it up until 1980 something. And I read one of the most important books I've ever read, which was Autobiography of a Yogi.
Nice.
And that showed me that yoga was this all-encompassing life path. It is not about standing on your head. It is not about the lotus position. It is about how you live your life, connecting with the divine in everything you do. I had mentioned to Yoga backstage that YouTube is yoga. This is our yoga studio. Yoga literally means union, and we are discovering our union. We're discovering who we are, not just separately. Who are we together? Every time we do a live stream. So yoga is your life. As a content creator, how do you want to display your yoga? How do you want it to be? How do you want to demonstrate? And one of my favorite spiritualities, my yoga and Course in Miracles, which taught me the basis of forgiveness. In A Course in Miracles, they say, we teach what we most need to learn. So in this way, we are all teachers of yoga. We're teaching what we most need to learn. We need to learn, remember that we are always connected to each other, and that we are always connected to the divine, whatever your concept of the divine might be. So that was a long-winded answer to your question. And I'll give...
No, I love it because I think we are all called into, yoga differently. And, for me, I remember when you're asking me, how do you go? I will have to discuss how you got into yoga. And Cherono Kemei, nice to see you. Runner Boy is in the building. I see Eric's communities on the chat, guys. Can you welcome these people? Connect these amazing people. Eric's amazing communities on the chat. And this is the power of community, and we'll talk about that later on in the conversation. Eric, I like that, and I'm trying to put myself in your mother's place. Kids look for toys. Kids look for something that is very graphic, something very, something that they can perceive with their eyes. Something very colorful and stuff. So at a young age, you're already thinking of teaching yourself yoga. And how was that experience like? Were you getting into the big stuff, or was it like the gymnastics? Because I got into yoga through the asana route. And I started getting into the deep stuff now when I was already in asana, because then I was like, there must be more. And I started scratching my head. And this was like in my, somewhere in my 20s. There must be more. There must be more. It can't just be, you can't just be, because I got the flexibility. I could do the headstands. But something kept on bothering me every single time I went to a yoga studio, and that's what made me now go to, go to like yoga school, just to be able to like unpack the process. And I am so glad to hear you mention the book by Yogananda, because I was privileged to visit his ashram in India, and yeah, it was during my yoga training. So it's I'm right at home. So what was like, what was that experience like, trying to teach yourself yoga before now you got into, into the real work itself?
Well, I've always loved the physical. I always loved trying to teach myself anything physical, workout wise. All the way to present, doing burpees in my basement, doing kettlebells in my basement. The physical aspect of yoga and everything has always been a huge part of my life. But from the very beginning, even with that first book, I knew it was something more. That this was just reading the first few pages when they describe yoga. These are the things that I wanted to ask the priests and the nuns in my Catholic school that I was unable to ask, because you're, in my case, not in every case, I was shut down. It wasn't to be discussed. You didn't ask why. Why can't I talk directly to God? Why can't I have guidance, personal communication with Jesus? And it was always, we don't ask those questions, or there is no answer, or it was always put off. Yoga, right from the beginning, said union. That I am already that, all these questions, the answer was already there. And I could just turn within and ask those questions. So it immediately filled me from a young age with a sense of peace. And also a re-enchantment with the magical. That God was everything in every experience. I mentioned before that there were some key magical points in my life. There was a movie, it's called Harvey, with Jimmy Stewart. It came out in the early 1950s. Jimmy Stewart and his best friend, an imaginary 6-foot-tall rabbit, would go out drinking in bars. No one else could see Harvey, the rabbit, except for Jimmy Stewart. And it turns out that Jimmy Stewart or the rabbit, was a puka, which is a trickster spirit. In Native American traditions, that would be a coyote. In the Celtic tradition, it was a 6-foot-tall rabbit. I watched this movie late at night. My parents didn't know, on a black and white TV. And just at the perfect point in my life, might have been 14 years old, when you start getting into, for me, you start getting into trouble. You start disconnecting from nature. You start disconnecting from your spiritual connection. And I think it's sort of natural to have that disconnection so that you can come back to it later. It's about rediscovering yourself. But this movie came at the perfect time because it reaffirmed my faith in weird stuff. It reaffirmed my faith in that I didn't have to try to fit in any particular crowd. I could just be me, someone who was interested in nature, someone who was interested in yoga, someone who was interested in philosophical questions without trying to be anything other than that. And I think if we all stay open to these magical little events that happen in our lives, we learn, again, everything's yoga because everything is spirit trying to reach to us with a message. And the message is always union. It's always community. It's always that you are at one with everything right now. You are that which you are searching for your entire life.
Appreciate that. And thank you so much, everyone. Mocha is here. Mocha is in the building. Mocha is the one who wants to do the picture, the photo shoot. I can make fun of Eric. Mocha, you almost got me into. You almost made me get Eric into trouble. So, and Eric made me laugh about this because Eric. I asked Eric for his photo for the thumbnail, and Eric said, "Goga, I have to do a photo shoot." And I told Eric, you do know it's the Sunday service. You don't need to go for like a whole photo shoot to come to this. He's like, no, Mocha will know. Mocha knows best.
Mocha does know best. As well, Mocha knows me best more than any person, and in the world, Mocha knows me best.
I love that. So, I love that.
Shout out to the beautiful Mocha McCarty.
So look at what Mocha is telling you. He's a supermodel. Like literally, Eric made me wait for like 3 days for the picture, saying, I'm waiting for Mocha to come and do the photo. And I was like, wow, Eric, wow. He's like, go get it is a Sunday service. Go get it is a Sunday service. It has to be perfect.
Well, Mocha had to keep reminding me that I'm bald because I kept sipping my imaginary hair back. And she's like,
Okay, I love her already. She's funny. That's a good one. And guys, if you have any questions for Eric, please feel free to ask. If you are interested in learning about anything, Eric is very open-minded. Eric always answers anything anybody throws his way. He's very great and deep when it comes to philosophy and that stuff. So feel free to ask any question and then I'll be able to put it to him. Pancake, welcome. How are you doing, my brother Pancake? I see Daniel Berry. I also see Julie. Julie's on the chat. congratulations on your full monetization, Julie. You guys really helped get Julie the other day to 1K, because that is what she was remaining with, and voila, she's now fully monetized. I just got the news today before I came to the panel. So well done, Julie, and well done. Keep thriving and keep making the content. Keep making the content. I will now. I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying these conversations. Around your yogic leanings.
One of the things I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
I picked the title for my channel, Just a Yogi, very specifically because I wanted to convey that I am not a high-ranking member of the yoga community, that I am just a yogi. I'm someone, I practice my yoga. I practice kindness. I practice forgiveness. I'm not at any great level. I'm just someone who shows up every day, and I practice and I practice and I practice. So just a yogi.
Eric, I like how you, let me see if I can bring you back here. I like just move your head. Yes, there you go. So let me see. I wore this shirt for you. I was telling you guys earlier, yogi. So this is my t-shirt and stuff, and it has, it has all these things. I love this t-shirt. I got it branded when I was just starting my teaching practice. And why is it that yoga people are we are normally even hesitant to call ourselves yogis, because we never believe we are there yet, because it takes so much work. The yogic work is not exactly easy. It's really a lot that goes into it. So most of us never feel like we are really there to call ourselves yogis. So that was actually going to be my next question. What is your take on this? Because just a yogi, I love the name, but most of us, even calling ourselves yogis, sometimes we are normally like hesitant, almost hesitant to call ourselves yogis.
Right. But it's funny, because yogi is anyone who practices yoga.
Absolutely.
And of course, we have westernized yoga to such an extent that we believe yoga is just that physical aspect, just the asanas. So you're judged on your yoga by how deep can you stretch, how long can you hold a posture, can you do the more difficult stuff. And of course, you and I talked about this a few days ago in Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, which is literally the handbook of yoga. I believe it was written 1,500 years ago or more. Asanas are mentioned in 195 sutras, 195, 196, depending on which version. Asanas are only mentioned 3 or 5 times in the entirety of the book. So if you are practicing, you mentioned your friend being a karma yogi. She practices selfless service. That is one of the 4 branches of yoga presented by Krishna to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. You have karma yoga, the yoga of selfless service. Karma literally just meaning motion, action. So what we want to do in karma yoga is use the action that is of service to other people. And that removes you from the karmic repercussions of past events or even future events. So now you're living on point and on purpose. And then you have Bhakti yoga, which is the yoga of devotion, where you literally give yourself to the divine, but not just contemplating a distant God. You are invoking the presence of God in everything and everyone. So you can be a karma yogi on YouTube by just opening up your chat to everyone that comes in. Can I be of service to you in some way? You can be a Bhakti yogi on your live stream by recognizing the presence of God in everyone who comes in. Decades and decades ago, Mother Teresa was asked in an interview, how do you do it? How do you show up day after day after day in the orphanage, at the hospital, with the most suffering children that you're ever going to face? And how can you do that every day, never taking a day off, years? And she said very simply, simply see Jesus in all of his distressing disguises in every child. That's Bhakti Yoga. You're recognizing the divine presence beneath the suffering, beneath whatever it is appearing. You're recognizing God's presence. Conversely, and one of the topics that we wanted to talk about, forgiveness. Forgiveness is the practice of Bhakti Yoga. You're not looking at someone for their mistakes. You're not looking at someone's errors or their perceived sins. You're looking at the presence of God within them that we share as well. So it's not so much that we're overlooking these, but we're looking deeper within. And then you have Raja Yoga, which is the royal path of yoga, which includes the asanas. But there's 8 limbs of yoga, starting with the ethics, the yamas and niyamas, which are the ethical restraints. And it starts, the very first one is kindness. So we practice kindness, the beginning steps of yoga. So if you are practicing kindness, you are yogi. If you are practicing forgiveness, you are yogi. It's really that easy to practice yoga. And anywhere and anything can be your yoga studio in any moment.
I love that. I always I like this answer because when I started off my channel, I used to, and when I was expanding my content from the yoga videos, I literally said my channel is still a yoga studio. I am still practicing yoga, just in a different form. It may not be physically because the asana is what people see, but I said I can't be of service. I can't be bringing the union in terms of the connecting the community. Eric, you have a lot of questions on the chat. I want to just start highlighting them because others I'll end up forgetting them. So the first question is a funny one by Runnerboy. Runnerboy is saying, question for Eric, how many plain Pringles should I eat on a run?
The answer to Runnerboy, 5 cans. 5 cans of Pringles on every run, no matter the distance. I should add, this is not an actual yogic prescription. This is a personal prescription that Runnerboy.
I'm just wondering how will we be running with Pringles, because I'm already seeing it's enough work. Like, or is it before the run, or but anyway, it's a good one.
This is when he's running. He's got the Pringles. He's shooting them down. He's got them in his back pockets, and he's just hauling them out, shooting them down.
Yeah. So the other questions are 2, and they're related, and I think they are very crucial. So Lungi and Carol, who are watching us from South Africa, this is a mother and a daughter channel. So this is definitely Carol, probably, I can tell. So Carol is asking, can you shed light on breathing exercises, or it doesn't relate to yoga, Eric? And just as before you answer this, there's also another question here by Eve Hakika. Eve Hakika, who is watching us from Kenya, says, I struggle with anxiety at work. I was wondering if breathing exercises would help. I'm always anxious of doing something wrong. So yes, some very interesting questions there when it comes to breathing and anxiety.
You know what? Let me begin with that. About 3 years ago, out of the blue, I began to suffer from anxiety and panic attacks. I was caregiver for my father in his final days, suffering from congestive heart failure. And I dearly, dearly, dearly love my father. The thought of losing him was overwhelming. It was during the COVID shutdown. I had lost my business. I was caring for my father. The only person besides my father, my brother, that I saw was Mocha. And I think Mocha probably could see the stress starting to get to me, the worry of not just what I was going to do, but was I capable of offering my father the type of care that he needed? Could I be the son that was required? And during these panic attacks and the anxiety attacks, I also suffered from imposter syndrome. Here was someone teaching yoga, teaching meditation, teaching breath work, and how to navigate through anxiety, and I was suffering it. I had this great realization that no one is ever immune from anything. You can be a long distance runner and unfortunately have a heart attack. You could be a vegan and have a stroke. You can decrease those odds by the lifestyle that you live, but no one is ever immune from anything. And that is actually good news because it connects us in our own suffering. That if someone who's been practicing this literally for over 30 years can out of the blue begin suffering anxiety, that lets all of us off the hook. You don't need to be perfect. You also don't need to be worried about making a mistake at work, because you probably will. So relax, make the mistake, we learn from it, and we laugh it off. If there's an apology, we apologize, we go about our business. But breath work, done specifically through the day, and again, therapeutically as needed, helps with all of that. It is, I should add that pranayama, breath work, is the third limb of yoga in the yogic system of Patanjali and Raja Yoga. So you have the two ethical principles, and then you have the breath work, and then you have the physical, and then you have withdrawal of the senses, and then you go into 3 stages of meditation that result in samadhi. So breath work in the morning, first thing out of bed, and then another dedicated breath work in the afternoon, and then another one in the evening. And all of it's designed for very specific things. We do a breath work in the morning that induces just the right amount of stress hormones naturally, much better than drinking a cup of coffee or an energy drink or the host of other things that we do to get energy. I'm not saying skip your coffee. I have 1 cup a day and I absolutely love it. But the breath work brings in that perfect amount of cortisol, norepinephrine, and adrenaline in the right amount to wake us up and get us ready for the day at a very easy level. Those same hormones that we create, by the way, begin to die off in the course of the day, and in their raw material that's left over, the body uses that to produce serotonin and melatonin that help us sleep. So what we do first thing in the morning helps us sleep better late at night. And then in the afternoon, we do a very easy breath, just to keep us calm. Nothing special, breathing in for a count of 4, always through the nose, exhaling through the nose for a count of 4. As a matter of fact, if you want, we'll just do 1 or 2 breaths.
Yes, in fact, that's I like that because she just asked, can you please help us demonstrate? So I like how she. Thank you, Eric, for that. Was very perceptive of you.
Let me get my demonstration glasses here. I know this is going to be familiar with Tagoga, the ujjayi breathing, which is the ha sound that we make.
Yes,
it's a very, very powerful breath that takes no specialness. It's like doing a gentle snore, and no one else has to hear it but you. If you go into some yoga classes, everyone tries to out ujjayi breath the next person. Everyone's trying to see how loud they can do it.
Don't do the other person.
But only you have to hear it. So I use the glasses to demonstrate because it's like trying to fog up a pair of glasses.
Let me get my glasses, Eric, as well. I want to see this. All right, I'm here.
So it's the same, we've all tried to fog up a bathroom mirror at one time or another. You simply, you can see how the glasses fog up just a little bit. There we go. That's the sound we want to make. It's a very light constriction of the throat. But we're not constricting the throat. It happens on its own when we make that ha sound. So what we want to do, breathe in through the nose. Now breathe in through the nose and say ha with the mouth closed.
Nice.
Now we're going to do the same thing, breathing in with the mouth closed. We're just doing a gentle snore as if we are fogging up that glasses, but always through the nose. So we're going to make that noise, the gentle snore as we breathe in, and then the gentle snore as we breathe out. So it's
nice. So you can hear like this. It's like it's like a sound from the throat, exactly, right?
Yes,
So
exactly. Right. It's a very easy constriction of the throat that we don't have to do. We don't have to try to concentrate on the throat. We just make that snoring sound as if you're imitating. If you're imitating your parents' snore, if you're imitating your, if you have a spouse that snores not too loud, just enough, you're imitating. If someone says, "How did you sleep last night?" And you're like, "I don't know, man. My spouse was sounding," and you imitate that snoring sound. What that does is massages and relaxes the vagal nerve, which is the nerve that brings us from the responsive state to the reactive state, from the rest and digest, calm, peaceful state to the more aggressive fight or flight state. And when the vagal nerve is toned, we can go back and forth seamlessly. Sometimes you need to be in that fight or flight. Traditionally, it was because you were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger or chasing a woolly mammoth. Nowadays, we have that same response when we are in traffic or in a long grocery line or when our boss is yelling at us or when we're in an argument with our kids. The problem is we have this low level of stress all the time. Stress isn't bad. Stress happens. The issue is when we're bombarded with it. If you turn on the news, you're going to get bad news right off the bat. And as the anchor person is telling you bad news, there's a banner underneath of it giving you more bad news. And then probably a banner underneath that banner giving you even more bad news. You can't escape it. So the vagal nerve is constantly in that fight or flight state, never given a chance to come down. So we use that ujjayi breath to bring us back down. So what we're going to do is breathe from the nose for a count of 4. Another useful aspect of the vagal nerve is if I were to say breathe in for 4 without using that breath, we might try to draw in really quickly. And we never make it to 4. But the vagal nerve or the ujjayi breath is like putting a controller, a spigot on a garden hose where you can just squeeze it just a little bit so just enough water comes out. So when we utilize the ujjayi breath, just enough breath is coming in to get us to 4, just enough is coming out to get us to 4. So let's do just a couple of the 4x4 breathing. One thing you'll notice when you get to 4 at the top of the breath, there's a gentle pause. No need to count it, just notice it. We notice that little pause, and then we exhale, and there's another pause. There's always a pause between every breath, naturally. There's also always a pause between every thought, which is an important thing with stress. When we're stressed, our thoughts are going literally a mile a minute, and we say that. How are you? I'm stressed out. My thoughts are going a mile a minute. I can't stop thinking. You don't need to stop thinking. Notice the space in between each thought. That is silence. And silence is always present. Your natural mind state is always silent. You're not your thoughts. You are the awareness of your thoughts. So when we notice that space between the breath, the space between the thoughts, we are getting in touch with the silence of our true identity, who we truly are, which brings us back to another topic that we were going to talk about. Self-inquiry. Who are we? We
I
are not
love
our
that.
thoughts. We are the awareness, the presence that allows the thoughts to be. Herman Melville, the author of Moby Dick, said silence is the only voice of God. So when we notice that silence, when we notice the space between breaths, we're returning to God, the calm, all abiding peace of God. So let's do just like 3, breathing in for 4, exhaling for 4. I'll use a hand gesture, breathing in, breathing out. We're going to do that snoring sound, Ujjayi breathing. You ready?
Ready.
Yogi 24/7, here and here to stay. Joining us in laughter.
Just 3 breaths. Generally recommend 10 breaths. You can always do more. You can do this anytime, anywhere, in any situation. The amazing thing with that 4x4 breathing is when you count the pause, it actually comes to about 5.5 seconds. So remember, it's a count. You don't have to worry about, is it 4 seconds? It's your own count, nice and easy. Breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4. And studies have shown that the 5.5-second breath is considered the perfect breath. It is the amount of time it takes for the relaxation response to start. It's also the amount of time, if you're using the japa beads, for the repetition of a prayer, including when we are doing Hail Mary on rosary beads, or one of the more intricate yogic chants. Comes about just about, not perfectly so, just about that same length of time. So that is the perfect breath for relaxation. One of the things, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I love that because, and it's important because just to tie up a few questions that are arising from the chat. So you have a question here by Mocha. Mocha is asking about box breathing. And Jerry Kimani is also asking, Eric, is it safe for fire breaths early in the morning? And is it okay for people struggling with blood pressure? Because she's reading different stuff on this aspect of breath work.
So let's answer that last question first. And that, yeah, breath of fire is a perfect morning breath. However, you might want to modify it. Most teachers nowadays, everything has to be extreme. Everything has to be taken to
like that's true.
You know what I mean. You can't just do, I can't just do burpees in my basement. I got to do all the burpees in my basement. We live in a very, you can't just do something nice and easy. You got to take it to that next level. I'm guilty of it. And not only am I guilty of it, I pushed my loved ones into it too. As an example, Mocha ran a half marathon. And was very happy with it, as she should be. It's a great accomplishment. And then maybe a year or so later, I suggested that she run a 50K. And she's like, I haven't even run a marathon yet. And I was like, skip the marathon, run a 50K. And I'll run a 50-miler. So I am guilty of this. However, when it comes to breath work, when it comes to yoga, when it comes to meditation, I am not guilty of it. Always go for the easier path that benefits you in the most substantial way. That the breath of fire that I was taught, the breath of fire that, I'm going to note a difference. The breath of fire that I learned was a little different than the breath of fire that I was taught. I learned the extreme way, and I practiced it. I also practiced the Wim Hof breathing, which is, again, very extreme, very vigorous, and it caused me a lot of problems. It works great for a lot of people. People love it, so I'm not saying that it's a bad way of breathing, But for some people, some who suffer from anxiety, some who suffer from blood pressure, you need a gentler path. I need a gentler path. So the breath of fire that we teach is 20 rounds without a breath retention. Now you can enter a breath retention, but it should be very light, 20 count at most. So we do 3 rounds, breath of fire, 3 rounds of 20 repetitions, space in between, relaxing, and then you come back to it. Breath of fire that some people might learn is 20, 30, 40, 50 rounds with a long breath hold in between, which raises the blood pressure, and then repeating that 3 times, 5 times, 10 times. For those who can do that, awesome. But not everyone should, and certainly not everyone has to. So breath of fire is a great morning breath. It puts us into that sympathetic nervous state, which is that very light fight or flight, just enough to get us going during the day. So modify your breath of fire and make it gentler. Eliminate the breath hold for now. If you decide you want to reintroduce it, start with a count of 10. Start with a count of 5 and experiment from there. You are your own best lab, meaning take your blood pressure. How is your blood pressure? Go by how you feel. Are you feeling nervous? Are you feeling anxious? If so, modify it. Always err towards that gentle side. And then for Mocha's question, box breathing brings us back to that 4x4 breathing. But now we're adding in breath holds. And we're also decreasing the amount of breathing we do per minute, which puts us in a very deeply relaxing state. So box breathing is when we breathe in for that count of 4, but then after that in-breath, we hold it for 4. Then we exhale for 4, and then we hold it for 4. We're making that box. Breathing in, holding, breathing out, holding. It's a great breath to help you get to sleep. This is why that count of 4 is so important, because we use it across the board for so many things, starting with the alternate nostril breathing, breathing in through one nose nostril for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. There's so many variations that you can do it. But one thing I want to introduce is to help you get to sleep, take that same breath that we just did, extend the exhalation for a count of 8. Very slow, very gentle. The longer the exhalation, the more the parasympathetic, that rest and digest mode that we are able to enter. So it really helps you sleep. So let's do 3 breaths, breathing in for 4, then very gently exhaling for a count of 8. We'll do that 3 times. Ready?
Already.
So breathing in,
A little bit of yogi in the morning light, helping out the people, feeling just right.
3 breaths. If you do that for 10 rounds, a round being the inhalation and the exhalation, 10 rounds as you lay on your back getting ready to sleep, it will greatly, greatly enhance your sleep, get you to sleep quicker, and put you to sleep for a longer period of time. If you feel you need a little more, then you can use, and you don't have to use the Vishnu Mudra, which is that sort of that hang 10. If you want to, you can. Or you can just use a thumb, where we breathe in for a count of 4 again. But this time when we exhale, we block off the right and we exhale just through the left. The left corresponds to the parasympathetic, the rest and digest. So when we are exhaling through the left, we enter that state even more profoundly than when we breathe out of both nostrils. So if you have any kind of sleep difficulty, and again, when we're stressed, Who doesn't? Breathing in for 4, exhaling for 8, and you can focus on that left side if you want.
Wow, I love this on the chat. It's amazing. Sabine says something about how this, this is making, this can make you actually feel very relaxed. And I like the fact that you guys are practicing on the chat, because a number of you are saying that this is feeling very relaxing. Like most people are feeling very relaxing just doing this exercise, Eric. Um,
And
and
you
then
can,
positive, just positive. How did you manage to sneak in a joke successfully at the Sunday service? Positive says, my husband has morning breath of fire, but it has nothing to do with his breathing. How did you successfully sneak in a joke at the Sunday service?
that just means he's a natural yogi. You should congratulate your husband on being a natural yogi without even trying.
That is so funny. That is so funny. I got some interesting comments as well. Peterson Farms of Nashville. This is an amazing content creator as well, and my channel member. This is advice to Runner Boy. Wear a Pringles hat like the hat for drinks. This is an advice for your Runner Boy. So you got advice there. Mocha says that yes, your father was really his best friend. That is from Mocha. And then Mock also said something I like, that you like your coffee ritual more than the coffee itself. I love coffee too, Eric.
This is true.
We're a match. I love coffee. I function on coffee and God's grace.
And it really is my ritual of coffee. I'm up at 2:30 every morning, a little before. I have my alarm set for 2:27.
Yeah.
There's no spiritual significance for 2:27. It just happened to fall on 2:27, and I left it there ever since. I
wow.
usually wake up before the alarm. I do my own breath of fire, and then I meditate. And then I go downstairs and I do my yoga asana routine, about half an hour usually. And I make a cup of coffee, and it is always organic. And I boil water. It's instant coffee. A lot of people shudder when they hear me say instant coffee, but I love the sound of the teapot. I love the sound of that whistle. That reminds me that this part of my day is over, and now I begin my writing. My ritual is I have a cup of coffee at my desk, 4 a.m. every morning, and I start to write as I drink my coffee.
I love that.
Writing.
Welcome, Liz and amazing MNG. And there's a very interesting comment here by Squirrel, and Squirrel is also from I met Squirrel courtesy of you. Stress and fear blocks our diagnostic and ferromagnetic sensors, which stops us from using our given intuition. This was when I think this was when most people are talking about. I think when you're trying to respond to the idea of anxiety. And then Lungi says, I love that you mentioned that you do it while laying on your back. I think the position of the body is important when you're doing this. I think that's when you're explaining the breath.
It is. Now, you can do it sitting up, and there is lots of value to doing it, especially when you meditate. And if you meditate, if you introduce some pre-meditation breath work, it's like supercharging your meditation. You go into that meditative state quicker and easier. However, when we're sleeping, we're not entering a meditative state. We want to go to sleep. We don't want to, that's what we want. We want that deep rest. So why not practice it in the position of which you're going to go to sleep? I practice my pre-meditation breath work as I'm getting ready to meditate. I practice my pre-sleep breath work as I'm going to sleep. At the same time, sometimes when I'm doing that breath, I fall asleep before I get to 10. I don't want to wake myself up and say, oops, I didn't get to 10. I got 4 more breaths to go. I want to go to sleep. My breath work has accomplished what it was meant to do. So if I'm ready, if I'm in that position of rest, all the better. So excellent point.
Okay. Guys, I love the fact that you guys have participated. I didn't believe that there'll be a lot of interest when it comes to breathwork. And that is that's really Eric's forte and training. And he's a certified, yoga breathwork coach. And I'm glad, Eric, I didn't imagine that there was going to be a lot of interest. So it's so nice seeing this. And, it's so nice seeing this happening.
I love talking meditation as well. And I mentioned that I'm a meditation teacher through the Chopra Foundation. Deepak Chopra was a high-ranking. Some of you might be familiar with Deepak Chopra.
Yes. From
He's
Oprah.
he's been a very important teacher to me. I've read his book. I have it here by my side. The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. I bought that book when it came out in 1993. I have a copy here. It's actually signed by Deepak to Mocha and I. We brought it to a talk, and he signed it for us. When I read this book in 1993, it reaffirmed to me my path of yoga, that this is what I wanted to do. It's called the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, but by rights, it could be the 7 spiritual laws of how to live a yogic lifestyle, how to use our mind, body, soul connection to achieve happiness. Happiness doesn't necessarily mean making $1 million a year. It also doesn't exclude making $1 million a year. But it means that we are happy when we make $1 million a year. We are happy when we make $10,000 a year. Our happiness is independent of our income. It's independent of our relationships. Those are just circumstances that happen in life, but we are life itself, which is always a joyful expression. Just the fact of being alive. I mentioned before, one of my first morning ritual, my most important, is as soon as my eyes open every morning, is saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And I started doing this in the 1980s. I read a comment by the great Christian mystic, Meister Eckhart, who said, if the only prayer we ever say is thank you, that would be enough.
Oh, wow.
And I took that to heart. And I started saying it, and I would forget for long periods of time. And then I would remember, but I didn't believe it. I would wake up and think, I got to go to work today at a job that I hate, that I got to do this, I got to do that. What do I have to be thankful for? It's raining outside. But I would say it anyway. And then an amazing thing started happening. I would start looking for things to be thankful for. And I would find them. If you look, you're going to find. If you look for God, you'll find God. If you look for things to be grateful for, you will find them. And then even more amazingly, I woke up as my practice progressed, and I was grateful because I could take a breath, because there was an abundance of air that breathed from, that the earth, life supported me in all I wanted to do. That no matter, even during the hardest days of being a caregiver, I had the opportunity to provide care for the person that I love most in my life. Always something to be grateful for. And when we practice gratefulness, we are given more things to show that.
Guys, so I've shared the link. You can see those of you are not so sure about Eric's channel. I've just projected it, but the link is pinned up there. So thank you so much, guys, and I'm so happy that I can see you guys connecting to Eric. I appreciate that. Eric, you said something very. Omaya girls, nice to see you. Thank you so much, Omaya. Omaya is saying very true, very true, very true. Eric, you talked about writing when you wake up and after you've done your yogic routine, you do write. And I came across 2 books that you've done, and there's a particular book. There's a quote from one of the books. Let me just share it with the community, because this can set the stage for what inspired you to get into writing. So there's a book where you wrote, and there's a quote like this. I've just projected it on the screen. No effort is given nor needed to forgive only a recognition and our own willingness to see this as our only true nature. This is a quote from one of your books, and somebody left a very glowing review on that book. And this is what the person wrote. I recently experienced a very painful life event. McCarthy's writing is beautiful and authentic. Every page is like an encouraging and lyrical note from a dear friend who wants the best for you. Um, Talk to us about your writing. What inspired you to like start putting things into pen? You also self-style yourself as a poet. Um, and I've seen that in terms of your blogs because I was going through your recent blog that you started this month, and there's an art to it. It feels like you're reading a poem. Talk to us about this writing, and how did you get into the space of writing? Because most of us even to become published authors, and you have I came across two of your books that I will share with the community. It's not an easy undertaking because it is putting your thoughts to paper, and it takes a lot of discipline and hard work. Share with us this.
You hit upon one of my all-time favorite topics to talk about: creativity. For me, it is writing. For someone else, it might be painting or origami, photography. It might be your YouTube channel. Whatever your creative expression is perfect for you. And it takes cultivation. That I've always, that one thing, if you were to ask me in ninth grade, if you were to ask me in sixth grade, what do you want to be? It would be, I want to be a writer. And much like yoga, and again, writing is an extension of my yoga, that everything's connected. Everything I do is dedicated to, let's call it the yogic path, or we can call it the path of spirituality or the path of love. Fall in love with your art. Fall in love with that which you want to do, and do it. When you are in love with someone, you want to see them every day. You don't even want to be apart for a second. Fall in love with your writing. Fall in love with your YouTube channel. Fall in love with your audience, with whatever it is that you're doing. So all I ever wanted to be was a writer. However, I was not very successful in school. Back then, you weren't diagnosed with ADHD. You were put in the lower section of the classroom and largely ignored, which is odd because I went to school where my mom taught. And you would think that would garner maybe some more attention, but in fact, it was actually the opposite. I was allowed to skirt by a lot out of respect for my mom. Teachers didn't want me to fail, even though I probably should, because they wanted, out of loving my mom, who was an exceptional teacher, they let me get by, which didn't prepare me for high school. So I fell further and further behind, and I began to believe what I was told. I was not very smart, that I would not get ahead in certain fields, that I should start looking towards things best suited for my ability, which was lifting heavy things and carrying them, things along those lines. However, what I wanted to be was a writer. Somewhere along the way, I decided I was just going to write. I didn't have to call myself a writer or not a writer. I could just write because I love doing it. And once you let go of that identity, that I have to call myself a yogi, I have to call myself a writer, I have to call myself a painter, those are just labels. What you are is an expression of love, giving yourself to the page, giving yourself to the screen, giving yourself to whatever it is that you're doing. How easy is that? How easy it is to love something versus struggling. However, I found that I was often uninspired for great lengths of time. I would go months without writing and then punish myself. What kind of writer am I if I don't write? What kind of yogi am I if I don't practice asanas, or I meditate, or I don't do this or don't do that? Which feeds into that writer's block, which is insidious in anyone who wants to be a writer, or any kind of creator. What do I do next? I'm sure people on their YouTube channels, it happens to them. What am I going to talk about this live stream? What am I going to talk about with this person, or who's going to be my next person? How do I top this? If I A great author, Richard Bach, who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull and Illusions. Jonathan Livingston Seagull was one of the top bestsellers in the 1970s, probably in the top 5 all-time bestsellers of that decade. And when he was done, he was always asked, so what's next? How are you going to top it? How are you going to top that? And he said, nothing's next. Nothing. There doesn't have to be a next. There's just a continuation of what you're doing, which is expressing yourself. It might take a different form, but we're the ones who judge it. How many sales does it get? How good is it? Is it better than this? Is it better than that? It doesn't have to be better or worse. It just has to be. So I read a book in 1999 from Stephen Pressfield, incredible writer. He was very influenced by the Bhagavad Gita. He's a yogi too, although he probably wouldn't call himself that. And he talked about, the book is called The Art of War. Or I'm sorry, The War of Art, which is a play of The Art of War.
The Art of War by Robert Greene.
And he says in the book, a writer writes every morning, every day, shows up at his desk and writes. Doesn't skip it, doesn't make a big deal of it. You don't make a big deal going to work. You show in, you hit the time card, and you go to work. When you are here, when I'm at my desk, I'm at work and I write. And I'm always inspired because inspiration shows up at my desk every morning at 4 a.m. because this is where I am. And there's always something to write about. How in an infinite universe, how can there not be one thing to write about? Look out the window. Look at a single blade of grass and let that blade of grass tell you its story. Look at the sunrise. Grab a book, any book. Leaf through it. Find one word. The word here is intense, the word that I looked at. Take that word and stream of thought. Write whatever comes to your mind about intense. It only has to be words on paper or words on a screen. In the absence of you judging it, it's absolutely perfect. So I started my blog my first blog in 2000, I believe it might have been 2001, 2002. And then I started another one, a continuation, the one that you looked at in 2010. And if you look, I think from 2011 onwards, every day is, if you look at the counts, 365 posts or 375 posts, or there's always, never a day has gone by since I've read that one sentence in that book that I haven't written. And again, that was in 1999. So whatever you do, regardless of what it is, do it with all of your heart. Absolutely fall in love with it. And don't worry if it's good, if it isn't good, because it's yours, which means it's perfect. Now, my first book, which I happen to have a copy of, was, I don't know if you can see that. Does God
Oh, wow.
You? And I wrote this in 1999. It was published in 2000. It is a book of, the subtitle is Meditations for Compassionate Living. And it is a book of meditations that I put together based upon an intuitive poem. One day, I mentioned this before, the 1990s, I drank. I don't mean occasionally, I mean the 1990s, I drank from every day. As I mentioned, when you do something, do it every day. Unfortunately for me, that meant when I drank every day. And I drank with the purpose of ruining myself. It was self-destructive. One of the reasons why I couldn't write was because I was drinking. I started practicing primordial sound meditation in 1993 or so. And things from that point on began to drop out of my life, little by little by little. Bad habits that I no longer wanted, I didn't even have to try to get rid of them. They just dropped out of my life. Relationships ended easily without me trying to like rearrange how they were supposed to be. Just the right people came into my life, the wrong people left my life. And in 1999, alcohol left my life for good. I haven't had a drink in 26 years now, 25 years. And after a decade of drinking, I was a little lost, not in a bad way. It's good to be lost because now you got this vast expanse of spaciousness. Everything you thought you were has now been let go of. And you're roaming this vast expanse trying to figure out what's next. Who am I really? And I asked the question to God, what should I do with the rest of my life? And the answer was to be a hero to God. And I didn't know what that meant until I wrote the poem, Does God Have a Hero? And it is just little stanzas, little sutras. And then I wrote an essay next to each sutra on how to live my life as if this is what God expected of me as a hero of God to live my life. So it's based on kindness, it's based on compassion, empathy, forgiveness. The reason I mention this is I shared it with a few friends who really liked it, and they said you should get it published. So I sent it to publishers, and the publishers sent it back and said, we only work with authors who have an agent. And I thought, well, that's fair enough. I'll get an agent. So I sent it to agents, and the agent sent it back and said, we only work with published authors. So now you're in this catch-22. How do you get out of it?
Yeah.
In 1999, the internet was still pretty young. Things were coming up. The print on demand just came out. And Barnes & Noble, one of the largest book chains in the country, if not the world, had a print on demand business. You would send them that, and of course, you pay for it, and then you do the promotion. And if people buy it, they print it. If people don't buy it, they don't print it. Fair enough. So write your book first. Don't worry about a publisher. Don't even think about a publisher. Because if you're thinking about a publisher, you are writing for something or someone, not yourself. You're trying to write a bestseller. Have faith that what you're writing is the perfect thing that you should be writing, and let it go. And then look at it and think, this is good stuff. I'm going to send it to an agent, or I'm going to send it to an author, or I'm going to take it. Amazon now has print on demand. You can, for free, publish your own book if you want. Or you can do one of their paid services and they will market it for you. But the point is, explore every avenue. Send it to publishers, send it to agents, print it yourself. The most important thing is write, or paint, or sculpt, or do origami. Whatever it is, that's your thing. Do it with all of your heart. So that was another long-winded answer to another question.
Beautiful. How many books have you published in total?
I believe it's 6.
Wow. All right. Omaya Girls is asking, where can she find your books? She's watching you from Ireland. So she says, so I know I found 2 on Amazon. Maybe the other 4, you could guide anybody else who may be interested.
Yeah. All of them are available on Amazon. So if you look on Eric McCarty or Eric P. McCarty, I believe this one is, my first one was Eric Paul McCarty. Sorry. If I was smarter, I would have used the same name for every single book. But, I was experimenting, trying to see what was better. So
All right. So all of them are on Amazon. So yeah, so Omaya, I hope that has helped you. If all of them are on Amazon, and in case you're not so sure, you can always drop a message to Eric. He's always available to answer and point you the right direction. Point you the right direction. One of the things that stands out, especially when it comes to your writing, is the theme around forgiveness. And it's literally, you talk a lot about forgiveness. I hear you even speak about it a lot, even on your live streams. Why is this important? Is there like a backstory to it? Is why is forgiveness such a recurring theme in most of your works and your philosophy? Pretty much, it's like what you live by.
very much so. It is the central focus of my life. Originally, because I've made a lot of mistakes. You heard me mention an entire decade of self-destructive drinking, um, uh, hurting myself, hurting a lot of people, hurting my parents, the people who were closest to me. So I really felt that I needed to earn forgiveness, which led me into exploring forgiveness. However, um, that led me to the book A Course in Miracles, which is an important spiritual self-study. It was, it really has more, it's in Christian language, but it has more in common with Buddhism and yogic psychology than it does with Christianity. And it is forgiveness on a whole different level. Forgiveness isn't something that we earn. It's not something that we bestow. It is a gift that we recognize in every moment. And I never needed to be forgiven for anything that I've ever done. You don't need to forgive yourself for anything you've ever done. You just need to recognize that beneath the behavior, beneath the thinking, is our original innocence, who we are. When you read St. Paul's letter to the Corinthians, the beautiful description of love doesn't judge. Love doesn't make distinctions. So what we're doing when we forgive isn't saying you've earned it. I believe that you deserve to be forgiven. What we're saying is it's the essence of namaste, that the divinity, the light within me, recognizes the light within you.
Absolutely.
We don't forgive the effects. We look deeper beneath the effects and we see, really, we're all doing the best that we can. Some of us struggle more than others, seemingly so. But even the best of us, or the seeming best of us, they're going through their own struggle that we can't recognize. So it's just a way, forgiveness is just a way of looking deeper within each person, cutting each other a little slack. And it's so freeing that now I'm no longer looking at someone by labels. I'm not saying that this person did this to me, or this person could do this to me, or whatever. I'm looking deeper. And the important thing is what you said about practice. I practice forgiveness, meaning I'm not perfect, or even great, or even very good at it. But the great thing with forgiveness, we're always given an opportunity every day. And it's so important to let ourselves off the hook that way. We are doing the best that we can. In yoga psychology, they talk about the kleshas, the 5 afflictions of the mind, which cause all the suffering in the world. Everything that we experience as suffering is because of our psychological projections, how we perceive the world. So forgiveness is looking past the perception to the actuality of the person, spirit. So we're letting go of the ego, even for a moment, and recognizing the spirit of ourselves and each other. So when you catch just a glimpse of the release of those 5 afflictions, which are our attachments, our aversions, our fear of death, our belief that we are only a separate small ego, and ignorance of who we truly, truly, truly are. Who we are is the awareness of all that. We're not the mental activity, we're the quiet. So forgiveness is just recognizing the quietness, the silence of ourselves and the other person.
Um, Eric, one of the things, and I was just thinking about this and I was trying to understand what you said about forgiveness becoming a second nature to us, something that you is like a representation of how you live. And I would say, like, everybody always has a tipping point as a human being in their life. It could be a loss, it could be lost, you lost your job, you lost a loved one, it could be you are fired from a job, it could be you are betrayed by somebody you totally trusted. It could be many things. There's a moment, that you experience as a human being that normally changes things. um and forgiveness does not come so easy yet. And I remember I got into yoga, for example. For me, like, yoga for me was a cry for help because I was depressed. I isolated a lot of people in my life, and this was like 7 years ago. I stayed away from like a lot of people I used to interact with because there was a betrayal that happened. And one of the things that yoga opened me to was forgiveness was not for them, it was for me. Because for me, if I needed to forgive that betrayal, I needed to forgive that wrong that had been done for me to move on, for me to be able to like at least heal and at least take charge of my life rather than locking myself in the house, not going to work and things like that. How do we move from a place of, there's that bitterness that I am not happy, you wronged me, I need to revenge, to making forgiveness second nature? Because it means there's a lot of inner work that has to be done, and there's now the idea of self-inquiry comes in.
Right?
How much work then do we need to like put in order to like make forgiveness second nature, as you put it in your book? Because I love that quote. There's something, it spoke to me. How do we make forgiveness our true nature? Because it doesn't come in easy after a wrong has been done.
It does and it doesn't. I think of forgiveness as a great sigh. Do you put any effort into a sigh, or is it just that? That's forgiveness right there. Um, when we make effort, it always comes from the ego. Now, I mentioned the ego quite a bit, and the ego from the yogic perspective, the Buddhist perspective, from Course in Miracles perspective, as well as neuroscience, is the concept of who we think we are, not who we truly are. It's just a concept. Our ego is a collection of thoughts that has gained belief, thinking that it is in charge of our lives. So we go through life with the ego. George Harrison wrote a beautiful song on the album Let It Be, I, Me, Mine. And it's all about the ego. And he says, all through the day, all through the night, I, me, mine, I, me, mine, I, me, mine. And that's what the ego does. The ego is always trying to preserve its identity because it knows it's fictitious. It's fictitious. It's not real. So it is always saying, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine, or this isn't mine. So it's making these distinctions of someone being other than ourselves. The great yogic saint Ramana Maharshi, when he was asked, how do we treat others? Replied with a smile and said, there are no others. So that's how we extend forgiveness, is if we are not the ego, if we're not our concepts of who we think we are, then no one else is either. So we forgive ourselves by recognizing that we're not our concepts. We have that false belief in who we think we are. And so does everyone else. And we're going through life, all of us saying, I, me, mine, I, me, mine, I, me, mine. And all the while, our spirit, our true nature, the nature of forgiveness, is saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. So there's always two voices in our head. There is the voice of the ego that says, what's in it for me and how do I get it and how do I get it quicker than you get it? Or there's the voice of, let's call it the Holy Spirit, or the voice of love that is always quiet, always soft, never makes demands, and simply accepts. In any moment, we can choose to listen to the ego or listen to the Holy Spirit. We can say, I can choose peace instead of this. Or in the absence of feeling like we have any control, we can ask ourselves, self-inquiry, could I choose peace instead of this? Question, self-inquiry is so revealing because we don't need to have an answer. The answer is always, could I? Without need of an answer. Could I? Maybe I could. As soon as you say maybe I could, now you're dealing with possibilities. Yes. Instead of having that hitting up against a wall. I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. Maybe you can, but maybe you can't. Katie Bryan, who's a great author, she's called a self-realized Buddha. Does a very simple form of self-inquiry where she simply asks, is this true? Whatever it is that you're thinking, whatever's holding you back, whatever bitterness in your life, simply ask, is this true? And then follow it up with, do you absolutely know for certain 1000% that this is true? Is there any doubt that maybe this isn't true? And then you ask, who would I be if I didn't believe this? In the absence of this belief, who would I be? And just stay in that space. Because it's amazing. Everything is based on a thought. All of our bitterness, all of our hurt, all of our anger, all of our suffering is based upon a thought. And a thought is never the thing. It's never the actuality. It's a representation of the thing. So anything that we've experienced is already in the past. It's already over. In order for you to experience anger of that event, you need to think about it. In order for you to be bitter, you need to think about what happened to you. Now, of course, we're always going to have those thoughts. But who would we be in the absence of that thought? And can we be that for just a second? All it takes is just a second of letting go. All it takes is that all-important sigh that you and I just talked about. And everything's forgiven. And because it's a practice, you might need to do it again 10 minutes from now, or an hour from now, or a minute from now. But who cares? You got your entire life to practice forgiveness. You have your entire life to be free.
I love that. You have some interesting comments here from the topic. So Lungen Karo says, forgiveness benefits you. It serves you, not the person who wronged you. Forgiveness is about you. It liberates you. I stand to be corrected if I'm wrong. I think you're right, but Eric will buttress the point. And then Positive says, it's like the saying a woman's loudest cry is when she's silent. And that's the same as ego against love. Let love scream loudest and forgiveness comes easier.
That is beautiful.
Eric, there is also the concept of forgiving ourselves, because I think forgiveness may not just apply to forgiving other people, but also, let's say, I like what you said about it's all in the past and you have a whole lifetime ahead of you to practice forgiveness. Talk to us about self-forgiveness, because one of the reasons sometimes most of us are not able to move to our next level is because we are holding on to the mistakes that we did. I like the example you gave about, when you're in your 30s and, for you that time, it was a dark time, a path of destruction and stuff like that. For me, it was my 20s. They were very crazy. They were 20s were like my rebellious season. But one of the things, Eric, what are you about to say?
I cannot imagine a rebellious Goga. I cannot imagine a.
Oh well.
This is the Goga that we all know and love. I can't imagine anything else but this Goga.
It was rough. It was rough as a result of a lot of a lot of things that happened in the family and in my personal life. But it took a lot of work just to become better, to learn better. And one of the things I needed to do was forgive myself for some of the mistakes and my responsibility in some of this hurt that I may have caused. And sometimes it's very hard because the ego comes in. You always want to be I like what you said, me, myself, and I. Like you are the one who wronged me. But yet sometimes, and I'm learning this even every single day when I wake up, I have to remind myself what was my responsibility in hurting somebody in case, because we are normally very quick at blaming the next person, but sometimes we don't look at ourselves. And sometimes it's also important to forgive ourselves. So I don't know, talk to us about the concept of also self-forgiveness.
You said one of my all-time favorite words, responsibility. And what I love about that word is breaking it down. Response ability, our ability to respond versus being reactive. So when we are non-forgiving with ourselves, we are reacting to the thoughts that we have about ourselves. But how about if you just responded to those thoughts? When we respond, we always have that opportunity to be kind, to be slower, to be open and expressive. When we're reactive, there's no time for anything. We're just reacting. There's a time to be reactive when we are in physical danger, and there is the rest of the time when we are in repose, we are responsive, we are restful. If your best friend in the entire world, the person you loved far and above beyond others, came to you with tears in their eyes and said, I have done this and this and this and this, you, the Goga that I know, would put their arms around him and say, it's okay. You're my friend. I love you. Can you be your own best friend? Can you put your arms and embrace yourself and offer yourself unconditional love? You did the best, all of us. You did the best that you could. Had you been able to do better, it would be that way. There's a line from A Course in Miracles I absolutely love that says, the one holy true thing that one can say about the past is that it's not here. That means it's a clean slate. Another line from A Course in Miracles is that the only lesson of the cross is that we can all survive our own crucifixion. When Jesus was on the cross, he looked down on those who put him there. And he didn't see tormentors. He didn't see people who were torturing him. He saw their original innocence, and he said, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. So in any moment, we can choose the crucifixion, where we are crucifying ourselves, or the resurrection, where we're giving ourselves that moment to be reborn in each moment. You are now reborn. What happened yesterday doesn't even exist anymore except for a thought. Are you going to punish yourself, torture yourself, crucify yourself for a thought? Or are you going to love yourself?
Awesome. I love that. And I like the concept of being your own best friend. And I think Eva Kika is not in this down. We'll take a commercial break by asking Eric a funny question. Eric, you have a question here by David Hunt. David Hunt is a person I never take seriously on some of his questions, but he's very serious as a human being. But until now, so he has asked a commercial break question. Goga, a question for Eric. Has okra made a difference in his yogic burpees? I mean, Eric, I should have given a disclaimer. Some of my members of my community, I have to apologize on their behalf because David is one of them. Anytime he likes harassing my guests. You've seen this before. So, okra, what is the position?
My position is that okra has not made any significant difference in my yogic practice, my burpee practice, my forgiveness practice. However,
Eric, I will kick you out of my live stream. Moving on swiftly. David, you won. You won. You won. Okay. Okay. You haven't finished? Okay.
1 second. Oatmeal has made all the difference in my yogic practice, my birthday practice, and my forgiveness practice. But most of all, it has made a huge difference in my gratefulness practice. So, oatmeal for me, okra for Goga.
Eric, why are you like this? David, you are happy? It's done. Yeah, it's done. Clearly, Eric draws the line when it comes to okra. So you won this one, David. You won this one. You won this one. He's going to be happy the whole week because finally he has somebody on his side. But I like Eric is very diplomatic in his answer. He's very mindful. He's very actually not diplomatic. He's super mindful because he's balancing all the interests. He's balancing all the interests. Eric, community, curating a community of respect, understanding, a community that reflects values, that you eschew as not just as a yogi, but also as a person. One of the things I like when I got to connect to your community, there is something about your community. There's a way they are very empathetic. There's a way they welcome somebody very new. There's a way they are not bothered when trolls come in. It's almost like they are relaxed. They are, it's a reflection of the host. And if the host is not bothered about being threatened by people he doesn't know, there's a way the community also just like takes it easy. You are never worried about blocking anybody on this YouTube space. It's always like receiving them, for lack of a better word, it's like killing them with kindness until they have no space to be negative and they become part of the community. How have you been able to cultivate such a community that values respect, especially towards each other, empathy, and also just open-mindedness to your spiritual teachings?
Exactly like what we've been talking about. It's a practice. If you are practicing forgiveness moment by moment by moment, how could you get upset with someone giving you an opportunity to practice? It's impossible to get upset when someone says, so you think you're good. You think you're good at forgiveness. Let's see how good you really are. And they give you the opportunity. And then it becomes, as we mentioned before, the revelation of our true nature. It just becomes easier and easier and easier. The only place that I'd like to draw the line, if someone is attacking another member, if it gets to be like a personal attack on someone, then we draw the line and people are blocked or asked to leave. But I never make the distinction, or I don't like making the distinction, what people do on other channels, because that's their life. It's not for me to say, don't do this or don't do that. But when you're here, when you're in that room, we're creating something. We're creating that spaciousness, that all open arena for us to just be who we are. So if you've done stuff before, when you enter the live stream, then that's not held against you. Only what you do here, that's what counts. And if you're giving me an opportunity to practice forgiveness, then I thank you. That's absolutely awesome. I appreciate it. Not everyone wants to practice, and that's awesome too. I don't make any demands on anyone. If I have a moderator, and I had to learn this the hard way, if I trust someone with the moderator status, respect them to make that choice. Don't second guess them. Don't say, hey, don't do this, don't do that, to the best of my ability. I think by now most people know me and they know that I don't mind trolls. I don't even like using that word troll.
Yeah, actually you don't.
Yeah, because it categorizes people. Who knows what people are coming in? One of the great concepts presented in A Course in Miracles is that everyone you come in contact with are either extending themselves as love, or they are offering a plea for help and healing. Any attack is only and always a call for a healing. If someone comes to you and asks to be healed, what do? Do you turn them away and say, nope, I don't like your sense of humor? No, you came in here with an attitude. No, this or that or whatever. If it was easy, it would all be forgiven, and we would have no need for the earth classroom that we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
It's not easy. So we just keep practicing. And a great practice is simply smiling.
I love that. I love that. I like how you are blending in this. It's actually it's a call to action. You're all about forgiveness. You're all about it's healing. So this is actually like a real life and real world experiment right there happening right under your eyes. So I think that's actually very deep. Um, you talked about you mentioned self-inquiry just a few moments ago. Are there any particular practices or maybe tips that you normally have in your self-inquiry? Because I know sometimes even for you to put something into writing, sometimes most of us achieve this through meditation, which most people it may not be like come easy to most people. What are some of your best tips when it comes to self-inquiry? Just as a way to understand ourselves and who are we and why are we here.
Well, you actually sum that up perfectly, is understanding ourselves.
Eric,
We
I'm
all
losing. Could you adjust you a bit? I'm losing you. There's more of your yes, much better.
there we go. We are, as you said, exploring ourselves. Who are we really? However, what we generally explore is who are we as an ego. We never set the ego aside long enough to see who we truly are outside of ego. The essence of self-inquiry is not getting an answer. If you get an answer, dismiss it. There's the Vedic meditation of neti neti. Neti is a Sanskrit word that means not this. So whatever you think you are, if you come to an answer that I am a all-encompassing spiritual being, let that go too, because that's just another concept. Who we are is that which is beyond any word, any language, and any concept. And we arrive there by asking the questions. Who am I? What am I? We can even ask, where am I? Because who we are is outside of the confines of space and time. So we let go of all of that. Self-inquiry is the path of letting go and letting go and letting go. In primordial sound meditation, what I teach, it begins with 4 important questions. Who am I? We just gently ask ourselves that, never getting to an answer. Any answer that we do get, we let go of. And then we ask, what do I want? What do I want most out of life? And then we ask, what is my purpose? And again, we just keep letting go of we might say my purpose is to be a doctor. Nope, that's a job. We just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then lastly, we ask, what am I grateful for? And we just keep dismissing everything until we get to the point where we are just grateful. We are no longer grateful for, we are grateful. We are grateful as who we are. And then we go into a little deepening of the self-inquiry where we say to ourselves, I am, and then I say my first name and my last name. I am Eric McCarty. And then I let that go and I say, I am Eric. I let go of one identity. I am Eric. And then I let go of that identity and I just say, I am. I am is that state of beingness. Everything comes from I am. The primordial essence of who we are is I am. And then we even let go of that. And we go to just the vibration of I am, which is aham. And that's our primordial sound. We meditate on aham. Any thought that comes into mind, we just recognize thought and we go back to that mantra, aham. until we fall completely into silence.
That's powerful.
And we can do that
Um,
anywhere, anywhere, anytime. You can do it in the supermarket. You can do it in a yoga live stream. Who is being offended? If someone comes in and insults you, who is it that is being offended? Is it my ego? Or is it who I really am, which is independent of any offense or any need of defense? So everything's an opportunity to practice self-inquiry, which we could also say is the path of forgiveness. So it all ties together.
Love that. And when it comes to so thinking, just trying to pick in your thoughts on this self-inquiry. Um, in terms of let me just see what I want to ask, because and I like what I want. Let me get the question from what Lungi has said. What do I want? What is my purpose? What am I grateful for? I am. This calls for introspection. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Looking inwards, introspection. Um, why is it crucial, especially in this time and age, to introspect? Because I know most of us just live life and we take whatever that comes in. But one of the best practices I've realized when it comes to self-inquiry and also introspection is also it gives you the power to reflect on things, even actions, or even potential actions that you could have taken. And sometimes inquiry actually has stopped me from taking actions that could have been detrimental, because I took a pause. Just like the breath work you are teaching us earlier. I took a breath, I reflected on it, and I was able to make a decision just out of that, rather than the ego could have driven me to respond immediately with the same force. But sometimes you find that actually no response is needed, and that is a response in itself.
Beautifully said. Absolutely beautifully said. And I think one of the things you mentioned is, especially now, why is it crucial to practice introspection, especially now? Because we're on we're on an edge where we seem to be living in a fractured world where country against country, neighbor against neighbor, um, live stream against live stream, everything is.
And speaking of live stream, I want you to say hi to Jace, because Jace has to start his live stream, and he had told me to Goga, please tell Eric that he's weird. I owe him that much. So
He
before
does.
Jace leaves, his
He
response will
does.
be priceless.
He does owe me that much. I appreciate that from Jace, a fellow weird brother. In this morning's 5 a.m. live stream, a person came in and kept insisting no one should listen to this person. He's weird. And I had to be 100% in agreement with that person. And I said, yes, I am most certainly weird. And long ago, I embraced that. Being weird means that you are authentically yourself,
Absolutely.
making no apologies for it.
Yeah.
Meaning that you are this pure, all-allowing spaciousness for this little tiny speck of personality to open up and be, without needing to be afraid any longer of who that is. Because who I really am is beyond reproach. Who I really am, going back to introspection, is the same as who you really are. In awareness itself, there's no distinction. In love itself, love and awareness being the same thing, there are no distinctions. But within that all loving, distinctiveless spread of absolute love and joy, there comes a little spark, a little creative urge to express itself as something other. And that's me, and that's Goga, and that's most especially our weirdest friend of all, Jace. Jace is this individual. I love using, I'm guessing that Jason and I have talked about this. The great philosopher Alan Watts would talk about the vast ocean of consciousness, that the ocean is never nothing but the ocean. And every wave is an expression of the ocean, but it's never apart, never separate from the ocean. We have lived our lives as a wave, believing that we are separate from the ocean. But when the wave wakes up, the wave goes, oh, I've only been this, I've always been that. And now it knows that it's an expression of that vast consciousness of love itself, but it's unafraid to express itself as a wave as well. So embrace your weirdness and be as weird as you possibly want or can be.
I love it. I've actually, I like that concept of, when somebody calls you weird, you're like, I mean, that's actually a very high compliment because it means you're not conventional. And it's beautiful, especially in for such a time as this to be. It's very rare, Eric, nowadays to get people who can stand on their own, and it's we tend to favor. We tend to like go with the popular opinion because it is safe. So I always say, I think I learned this from one of my mentors, is like always pay attention to the person who just stands on their own, regardless of the majority, because that right there is somebody who has the principle, somebody who is not like insecure in being weird or unconventional, as you
Right.
put it.
When you using that same analogy of the ocean, how could a wave ever be insecure who it is when it's always the ocean? How could I ever be insecure knowing that I am always love? Now, that doesn't mean that I don't forget that I'm the ocean. I forget all the time. But fortunately, because of practicing self-inquiry, because of practicing breath work and meditation, I am able to remember more often than I used to. And when you can take those moments of someone calling you weird and you think, man, thank you for that reminder, because I forgot. I forgot how weird I actually am. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that.
I love that. Priska Sagati, nice to see you, Priska. How are you doing, sis? And Liz, I see the two Liz on the chat. Liz, my sister Liz from Uganda, and the Lisa Jacob. Hey, you guys need to be friends because now I'm getting confused. I've never seen the two of you on the live stream at the same time, so I've never had the pressure to call you both. The two Lizes say hi to each other. Lungi and Carol is laughing at that analogy by Eric. Yeah, thank you for the reminder. It's a very subtle. But the point is home. The point is home. Eric, you're also like big on non-duality. To people who are new to this term or concept, could you just explain it briefly? And what is its relevance, especially in addressing our life challenges? The whole idea. Just try to bring in some non-dual reflections, because I know you talk a lot about it as well.
Right. Non-duality simply means one without another. There's no possibility of another. This is what Ramana Maharshi said when he was asked, how do we treat others? And he said, there are no others. Non-duality is simply the recognition that when we say we're all one, we don't mean that conceptually. We mean that in actuality. That going back to that wave in the ocean, there's no separation between a wave and an ocean. It's just, as the Alan Watts again said, as the ocean waves and a tree branches, the universe selves expresses itself as us. We are simply an expression of the whole, never separate, never apart. So the path of non-duality is realizing that there really is no path. We are already that in which we seek. And a wave never has to look for the ocean. A branch never has to look for the tree. We never have to look for God because we've never left the presence of God. We believe that we have. The ego believes that it's separate. The ego believes that it has left the garden. But the spirit, who we truly are, is nothing but the garden. And Genesis, it's said that God caused Adam to fall into a deep sleep. And yet nowhere in the rest of the Bible does it ever say that Adam ever woke up. So if we think of Adam as the primordial, prototypical human, asleep within the garden, asleep within the mind of God, dreaming that it is a small separate self called Eric, or a small separate self called Goga, when in reality, we are ideas breathed into existence through the mind of God. That we are nothing less than children of God. And a child is never separate from his father, from his mother. So that's the essence of non-duality.
Eric, I keep having a running joke that I don't believe you're 59. And this is now a conversation around aging. And as we grow older, and I was so shocked because when you are making reference to some years, at some point you mentioned a season, and I'm like, oh my God, I wasn't even born by then. Reflections on aging, and we in my culture we normally say with age comes wisdom. I still don't believe you're 59. I don't buy it. I think it's a running joke that you have, with the young generation. But on a serious note, how has your perspective, especially on spirituality and life, changed as you grow older? And because there are certain things, of course, you've seen. I think when you're in your 30s, as you grew through your 40s, or even in when you started off, when you're the first time you bought that book when you're with your mother, when you compare that time and the person you are today, there's been a transition or evolution of some sorts. So talk to us about how spirituality and life generally has evolved, especially to Eric as a person.
Well, it's funny. It is a running joke, but I've been telling the same joke every year for 59 years. And
wait, let's do a poll. Ladies, Mwaura, Lungi, Mary Kwamboka, let me see. Hey, well done, and Carrie. Well done, Carrie. Welcome. Juba, Eliza, Liz. Do you think Eric is 59? Because, yeah, look at him, guys. Eric, just look at the camera a bit so that you don't see the reflection on your glasses. Yeah. Like, do you agree? He's 50. He says he's 59.
I'll be 60 in April.
Wow.
I'm afraid to look at the comments. I'm afraid to look and hear someone say, yeah. I thought he was 71.
No, they're sending you chats. They're sending you like hearts. This nice heart is like, no way, Goga. No way. Eliza says you look like you're 45 rather.
Well, thank you.
Amazing. Men, you're not supposed to comment. It's the ladies I'm asking. If you're cool, ladies, I tend to believe ladies tend to be very perceptive when it comes to age. More. Yeah, so most of them, I know they've been very coy about it, but yeah, I mean, you look amazing for somebody who's about to get to 60.
Well, thank you. Yoga is everything. And by yoga, I mean the meditation, the breath work. For me, the diet. I'm a vegan. I don't think everyone needs to be a vegan. For me, it's a personal choice. And I don't really talk about it unless someone asks about it. It's for ethical reasons, although I think it's very healthy.
All that thought, Eric. Now, people are wild on the comments. I don't even want to read them. But there's a comment that stands out for me. Juba Bruce is watching you from Jamaica. Juba Bruce says something very nice. Okay, I believe that he is, because once you surround yourself with God, you will never grow old.
That's beautiful.
That's deep. That's deep right there.
No, let me piggyback on that. That's so perceptive, incredibly so. And thank you very much for sharing that. When you were born, the instant you were born, when you came out of the womb, you were aware. You didn't have any concepts to be aware of. You had no words. You had no language. You didn't know what anything were. All you knew was aware. You just sparkled with this originality of, wow, look at everything. I don't even know what it is, but look at everything. When you were 6, you had that same awareness, but now you had things to be aware of. Now you had people, you had objects, you had things to be aware of. When you were 16, 26, 56, 59, you are that very same awareness. Everything has changed. The body that I had when I was 6 is not the same body that I had now. The body that I had yesterday was not the same body that I have right now. A certain number of cells have died off and have been replaced. However, the awareness of who I truly am, the awareness of being aware, has never changed, ever. The more I can relate to awareness itself, aware of circumstances, aware of my body getting older, I don't recover the way I used to, even when I was 50. A hard workout leaves me a little more sore than it did. I'm a little slower.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. However, the awareness of that, the awareness of getting older, that's timeless. That's eternal. So my body has experienced 59 years. Me, myself, I only ever experience the present moment. I am timeless and eternal. And the more I rest in that, the easier it is just to let go as I proceed through this life, looking forward to whatever might come afterwards.
Wow. One of the things that I think I just got that idea from when you're answering, was the idea of the present moment, and also there are also very interesting thoughts here on impermanence, and I experience it in my asana practice. There are certain things I used to do 7 years ago, because I'm an Ashtangi, so you know the whole works, how vigorous it gets.
Right.
Nowadays, it is my knees that I complain about, and then I realize I am growing older. And there are certain things that I complain about nowadays, and I'm like, this is, there are certain things that you used to enjoy back in the day that are not there. And one of the things I always have to remember is the impermanence of things that, sometimes as you age, you're going to lose certain things, and it's okay, because it's okay. It's your state of mind on how you embrace it. So,
Right.
because it's a reality. But one of the things that I also get when I speak to people who are older than me, it's also, they say, as young people, we tend to worry about a lot. And maybe from where you are sitting, you're turning 60 in April. That is a gift. That is a gift to most people. What is that one piece of advice, for all the 59 great years you've lived, that you'll offer the younger generation like us and other people who may be watching, younger viewers, or especially on embracing patience? Because one of the things, at least I get, and Ifeanyi Cool is your age mate, is on the chat. And one of the things I know when I speak to the older generation, they say, it's okay, it's perfectly fine, it will get better. So we are not patient as young people. There's the aspect of self-discovery. You will discover, there are a lot of things you're going to discover ahead of you. You're still in the process. And also just respect. One of the things I like with you, Eric, is your demeanor. I have never seen you raise your voice. I have never seen you. It's almost like a balance. You never raise your voice. You never have any extremes. You have a sense of humor, but it is very subtle. But it comes out. It comes out very nicely. And I think it's something that there's some golden gift in age right there. And that is the conversation right there. So Talk to us more about this. And before that, I see I got a raid from Hadways. Thank you so much, Hadways, for the raid. Appreciate the raid. Hadways, thanks so much for the raid. I see people landed in through that flight from Manchester, United Kingdom, Kenya, UK. Nice to see you. I see yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Hadris, for the read. I really appreciate it. And love our toy pups. Welcome. Love our toy pups. Welcome. I know I see you from, I've seen you in a lot of Eric's live streams, even
I
with
want
your
to
other house.
give a huge shout out to Love Our Toy Pups, an amazing channel, an amazing content creator, and
Yes.
someone who is on a mission to
Absolutely.
unite and to love.
I love that.
She's a good friend. I absolutely love Our Toy Pups. I hope you guys connect with her and help her in her mission. I love talking about mission versus goal. Everyone has a goal, and we achieve the goal and we check it off our list. But when you have a mission, man, everything changes when you have a mission. Now you're on to something.
I love that.
So, big love.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid, everyone. John Wambua TV, nice to see you as well. I really appreciate the raid, Hadris. You could have picked anybody else, but you chose us. Thank you so much for choosing us and bringing these amazing people here. Eric, back to the question.
I once wrote that I only have 2 actual talents in life, and someone told me that what I said wasn't really a talent; it was more of a trait. But I think that any trait can become a talent when we cultivate it. And those 2 talents are enthusiasm and curiosity. If you go through life from day 1 to the very last day, being curious and enthusiastic about everything and anything, it's going to be a wonderful and loving and successful life. When I was doing ultra running, there was times doing a 100-mile race when at mile 60, I was absolutely convinced that I was done. However, with just a little bit of curiosity and some enthusiasm, you can ask yourself, how am I going to feel at mile 62? How am I going to feel at mile 66? You never extend yourself to thinking about those moments. You're just curious. What's going to happen the next step? So as you get older, what's going to happen at 60? 59 was an amazing year. I didn't finish my first 100-mile race until a week after my 50th birthday, after 3 failed attempts. The great realization on my first 100-miler, I got 66 miles in, I had to drop out because I was hurting. And then I realized, wow, I just ran 66 miles, more than I've ever run before. How am I going to feel tomorrow? Am I going to feel like running tomorrow? Always be curious and let life unfold from that natural point of curiosity. And it'll get you through age 40, it'll get you through age 50, and it'll get you through age 60. These aren't things that we have to endure. They are things that we, as Goga said, that we get to embrace. Not everyone has that opportunity. Thankfully, I've been gifted it, and it all is a gift. All of it is a gift.
It is a gift. Human Crotchets, thank you so much. I appreciate you as well. Guys, if you have any question you want to ask Eric, please feel free to drop it on the chat. But I like how I've been, you guys have been asking the questions, and so I've been highlighting them for him. Carol, please get some rest. It's important. It's necessary. Thank you so much for that. It's important yet necessary. Appreciate it as well. Anne Maura, thank you. Appreciate that compliment as well. You guys are connect, and guys, make sure you connect to Eric so that you can get to enjoy his amazing teachings on his channel. Now, Eric does 3 live streams in a day. Let me check. I see Eric. I think I see Eric 3. I think this is one person I see on YouTube more than anybody else. Because sometimes I take my phone, I'm going to sleep. I'm like, oh, what is Eric doing on my homepage? Then I have to listen in at what he's saying. Then during the day, like when I'm having coffee at work, he's just waking up, because that is I think the 4 in the morning or something, they're about 5 in the morning for you. And then at some point during the day as well. So that's why I was saying that when I was looking at your channel earlier. And guys, if you've not connected to Eric, let me just share my screen there briefly so that you can see it there. Eric, how do you grow to have over 1,000 live streams? Because let me tell you how many live streams I've done. I started doing live streams like 2 years ago. I used to do live streams daily. I got tired and I had to call myself for a meeting. And then I said, I can only sustain 2 in a week. That is good enough because it competes with work, and sometimes I'm traveling, so it's not easy to coordinate all these things. But one of the things I noticed when it comes to your live streams, they also tend to be very intentional. You are either doing a reading from your books, you're either discussing some very interesting topics around yoga, meditation itself, forgiveness, mindfulness. It's always like a whole, it's a whole like list of things to talk about. But 1,000 live streams, that's amazing. And that saying that they always say that when you become a master when you're putting like 10,000 hours in something. I think you've put in more. And it's amazing seeing how you've done that in a span of a year. And this is now me asking, and this is probably me getting into my final questions. How do you curate your live streams? Where do you get your energy? How do you have over 1,000 live streams in a span of a year?
It's a great question. And again, I didn't realize I had 1,000 until you told me when we were backstage. And I was like, wow, I really need to get a hobby. I need to start doing something. And of course, I do. I run, I walk, I work out, I get out in nature. I love doing nature shorts. But here's the thing. Goga is a live stream artist. Everything is impeccably done. When I was backstage, I was so impressed at how professional everything was. And I mean that in the most loving way, because he brought me in, he welcomed me, he warmed me up, prepared me for what was coming up. I don't do any of that. I don't have any great online talent at all. I've never edited a single thing ever. But here's what I have. And I'm going to go back to what I just said. I have a lot of curiosity and enthusiasm. So I click on that go live after I've said that little opening prayer and the breath work that I mentioned at the beginning. And we see what happens. I'm curious. Who's going to show up? Who's going to come in and offer me something? Is it going to be an opportunity to forgive? Or is it going to be an opportunity to love? Or an opportunity to laugh? Someone is going to come in and offer something. As well, I get to offer something in return. I get to express myself in love. Or, who knows? Maybe I will get mad. Maybe I'll lose my temper. In which case, I get to forgive myself and continue my practice. So there's no separation from my yoga on the meditation cushion to my yoga on the yoga mat, doing my asanas, to my writing, or doing a live stream. It is all art. It is all yoga. And we get to wake up in the morning and create or be co-creators with God, the ultimate work of art, our life. So I do 1,000 live streams in just over a year or so by being curious about what this live stream is going to be and having no expectation. Every time I come in with an actual topic, Rona Boy shows up and asks me about how many cans of Pringles should he be running with. Or someone else offers something else that makes me laugh, and we pivot in a whole different direction, which is always fun, always worthwhile, always rewarding. If you want to see a really fun live stream, I will go back to Love Our Toy Pups, who was just having fun. And then Optimob, who is sharing the beauty of Switzerland, and Goga, who is taking people like me and realizing I actually have more to say than I actually knew I did until I showed up on this live stream to talk to my good friend Goga. You've opened me up to have me talk more about myself than I have to anyone outside of Mocha. So you guys inspire me, and I show up every day knowing I don't have any great live streaming talent, but I have availability. I can just be available, and I can offer my space to love everyone that shows up.
I love that. And, there's a very beautiful comment there by Tandra. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, if you don't have Tandra, please let's connect to Tandra because we are trying to get her to Tandra. Tandra, can you type the word count on the chat? Tandra is the beautiful, inspiration behind the nice music that is lingering in the background. That is Eric's anthem, by the way. That is Eric's anthem, and I have permission to play it on this live stream because he's on the panel. So, talk nicely to Tandra. Tandra says, I have seen Eric turn trolls into followers many times. He has a gift for sure. One of the things, Eric, that in my experience when it comes to live streams, and I've attended a lot of live streams because one of the things I'm trying to do on YouTube is also to like build a legacy by trying to empower like creators to also just embrace the best versions of themselves. And it's very clear, like in this particular platform, that it takes a village. It takes a village, and and I see you doing a lot of that, also just trying to help other people grow. And one of the things you discover on a live stream is how people evolve. Like today, somebody did their live stream for the first time, and this is somebody I've been pushing to do live streams. They've never done a live stream, but they support everybody else on their live stream. So it was just taking that camera and clicking the go live button for them. That moment right there, in less than 5 minutes, she had over 20 people there because people have been waiting for that moment. And one of the things you normally like love is how people evolve through the live streams. It is learning, interacting with people. You're learning so much about some other country. There's always something happening. You're getting knowledge from each and every corner of the world, and you're trying to like unpack it when you're on the live stream. And before you realize it, like you become so comfortable on screen that it becomes second nature, like the forgiveness you are talking about. What will be your one piece of advice? Because for me, I look at it as, and they always say, if you enjoy what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life. And that is why probably you didn't even realize you've done over 1,000 live streams, because you enjoy what you're doing.
Right.
What would be that one piece of advice you would have for the people who are just beginning? Because there's some people here I'm trying to push, and some of them are listening to me right here on the chat. I don't want to mention their names, and I always call them out. I'm trying to push them to start doing their live streams. They're like, no, but I don't have a camera. Goga, but my background. They always have an excuse ready for me. But I see them so busy doing other things. And I know, you have a lot of potential. What is that one piece of advice you'll give?
I'm going to take the opportunity to call someone else, call someone out who I just saw the name pop up. Skitosis, our friend Skits.
Yes.
He has a YouTube channel. He's been putting up some content. He is an incredible musician, and I would love to see him do a live stream, to see him do his music live. If you guys could visit him, again, he's in the comment section, and he's a wonderful musician. And
Nice.
I will give him the same advice starting a live stream as I would anyone. This is what I do, and I can only speak from my own experience, of course. I love jazz, and every single live stream is a jazz performance, meaning it's improvisational. Everything is improv. That you can't make a mistake when you're improving because it's part of the routine, it's part of the song, it's part of the uniqueness that makes the live stream. Embrace what seems like a mistake and pivot, use it, laugh at it, invite other people to laugh at it. There's no such thing as a mistake, there's only a result. And what you do with that result is completely up to you. Live streams aren't hard. You're going to make mistakes. Please visit one of my live streams and you will see me mispronounce every single word, everything. And everyone has a joke about it, that, you know, that I speak Ericanese, that I speak in, basically, I speak in mistakes, one mistake after another. That's perfectly fine. And I absolutely love it. So don't take anything personally when you're live streaming. Think of it as your performance piece. You get to improv. It's jazz. It's all jazz.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, and I like what, just to add on what Eric is saying, give yourself the grace to make those mistakes because you learn from it. You learn from it. I think we worry so much about perfection. We worry so much about perfection. And I mean, what is perfection anyway? Because you have to learn. Even a great even a great poet, even a great pianist, they had to like go off key in order to get their best, their best music. As just use that as an example.
There's a
So I like that, Eric. That's a good. That's
there's
a good.
a Zen concept, Japanese Zen concept called wabi sabi, which is the inherent beauty within any mistake, within any crack. There's beauty found in that imperfection. Actually, perfection found in that imperfection. The great Canadian songwriter Alan Cohen said, everything has a crack in it because that's how the light gets in. So allow yourself to present your cracks and let that light come in, and then give that light to other people as they enter your live stream. Make it about them. Don't ever make the live stream about yourself. Always make it about them.
I love that.
You never go wrong.
It's the age old question. There's a time I've hosted silver button holders on the exact place you are sitting. These guys who have 100,000 subscribers, and they say the same thing that you just said, that the content is about the audience. It's the people who come to your space. So curate it around them, curate it around their needs, curate it around their questions, and that right there will end up winning them. So I like.
The one last thing I would offer is my conversation. The topic might be different, but my conversation will be absolutely the same. I will be talking about whatever it is there is to talk about. If there's 0 people watching, or if there's 50 people watching, I will be me. I will be having this conversation and putting it out there, regardless of who shows up. And I'm thankful. As you said earlier, there's so many places where you could be and things that you could be doing, and you've chosen this opportunity to join me. Thank you.
I love that. You have a very beautiful question from on the chat, and I want to just highlight it. Okay, it's by Ifeanyi. Ifeanyi is watching us from Germany. Ifeanyi is almost I think your age mates probably. No, he'll say that I've made him older. So let me keep quiet because he'll come for me. He'll attack me somewhere else where we normally meet. So let me be politically correct. So Eric, please tell us, are vegans, and then give an example. They're like dogs whose meat eating interests for medicinal reasons go for veggies sometimes. In other words, are vegans for some health reasons to eat animal proteins? And then I think he just simplified it there. Would a vegan for some health reasons eat animal protein at least once in a year?
It's a great question. And again, I can only go from my experience and perspective. I've been a vegan for 15 years without ever feeling the need to ever eat meat.
Wow.
I've been in the 15 years, I've been a competitive kettlebell sport athlete. For 11 years, I was an ultra marathon runner. I've done over 100 ultras, most of which has been over the age of 45 and 50. My last race was in 2019. I never quite returned, but I've done over 1,000 days of burpees in a row. So medically, I don't think so. However, everyone's different. And someone might just want to eat meat once a year because they miss it and they want to have that. There's very strict definitions within the vegan community. If some say if you even have honey, you're not a vegan. If you do anything that exploits animals in any way, you're not a vegan. Don't accept any definition of what your diet is to anyone else. Do what is best for you. And some of that's going to be through experimenting. I know many people who were vegans for a while who felt better when they introduced eggs into their diet for whatever reason. If you need to do that, that's absolutely fine. The only thing I'm ever concerned about for me, how do I reduce my own actions that result in cruelty to anyone or anything, including future generations? Is my diet selfish? That do I have something or someone suffer for a momentary pleasure on my plate that I won't even remember by my next meal? And if so, then why would I do it? I want to be mindful and enjoy. You know, I don't want to open up old wounds between you and
yes.
I. But we're going back to that okra oatmeal. Oatmeal is part of my yoga practice.
Yeah.
When I'm making my oatmeal in the morning, I am saying thank you to the oats. Thank you for the sunshine that gave those oats, and the rain that nourished those oats, and the farmers that harvested and grew those oats, and the truck drivers that brought them to the grocery store, and the clerk that rang me up, and my bowl and my spoon. I'm saying thank you to everything.
Yeah.
And that brings me a lot of pleasure. I can't do that. I can't personally do that when I eat meat. However, I am great friends with the fishing and hunting community on YouTube. They are some of my best friends out there. And I watched a magical moment of a fishing channel. Dam's Fishing. You can look him up. He's a great guy. He caught a huge rainbow trout. And I looked at him and the joy that he got in catching the fish. And of course, I was also thinking about the fish. And he looked at the fish, gently put it in the water and said, thank you. And went back to fishing. And I thought, what a beautiful moment. Whatever you do, diet-wise, hobby-wise, do it with love and recognition of God within all things, and you will go through life perfectly so.
Nice. Awesome. Sikul, I hope you've been answered. I don't see any other question on the chat. I think that's pretty good. We are doing well. Mocha say, I'm sorry I didn't get the photo done in time. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Mocha, it is perfectly fine. Eric did the most amazing selfies. He sent me like 4 of them, and I got one that worked in his nice blue shirt, and yeah, it was perfect.
He really liked the one when I was wearing the cowboy hat. And what was it? I had the cowboy hat on. I think I had a rose in my mouth.
Yeah.
That's the one I thought we were going to use, but you decided to go with the other one. Creative differences, you know?
Creative differences. I know. It looked nice though. But I wanted, I like this one where you're just looking at the camera. And I could tell the effort you took to take those selfies, Eric.
It was.
How many takes? I know. How many did you take? I know you just sent me 2, but how many did you take? I know you have a number on your phone.
I believe it took about 6. I couldn't get it quite. I couldn't get the yogic penetrating stare the way I wanted it to.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, it worked, and I love it. And thank you so much for that inconvenience. But you know, we did an amazing job. Tandra is laughing. Morgan TV, nice to see you. How are you doing, sis? Thank you so much for coming in. Guys, I'm getting into my final question. I don't see any other question to Eric on the chat, but I hope this conversation has been uplifting. Eric, I can't believe you've been sitting with me for 3 hours. 3 hours is normally the length of my longest live stream. Like, I can't believe we've been talking for 3 hours, but this is what it feels like. You're just catching up. It's time just flies. Like, I can't even believe it's 3 hours already. And thank you so much for giving us your time. Thank you so much for these beautiful insights. One of the things that I did not foresee in this live stream was the interest, especially around breath work. And this is going to be an amazing replay, because one of the things I normally tell my community, and you alluded to it earlier, even if it is one person watching, you showed up, you did what was expected, you delivered the assignment. There's going to be somebody to replay this video and will enjoy the conversation. And that's why the Sunday service is a podcast. It's a podcast in the sense that somebody can listen to this conversation when they're driving their car, when they're making their dinner, when they're, when life is life, somebody can listen to this. And thank you so much, Eric, for the 3 hours that we've spent just having this conversation. My final question is really going to be very general in nature. To a beginner, a complete beginner, when it comes to the yogic, a yogic lifestyle, or maybe somebody is looking to make a lifestyle change as we get into the year 2025, because I know this is the season. Some people are like saying it is time to, I need to leave certain things in 2024 as I embrace the new year. So what are some of the essential practices, somebody who's just looking to begin, and maybe something very simple that somebody's just like saying, Eric, please just give me a simple way to begin. And I like what you said, it can be just that breath of, you know, what are some of the essential practices or insights you would recommend to anybody who's just beginning their journey when it comes to self-inquiry, in a bid to find their inner peace? And also, as you answer this question, I know you wanted to talk about it earlier, talk to us also about the importance of meditation, and what are some of the techniques you normally use in your meditation practice. And then after that, we'll be able to just sign off and, head out.
Simplify. Simplify your practice. And don't try to remove anything. Everyone at New Year's, they want to go on a diet, get rid of all the junk food, get rid of all the soda, get rid of this and get rid of that. Don't worry about any of that. Introduce something very simple and very gentle into your lifestyle, and as you introduce more and more beneficial, truly beneficial, spiritually beneficial things into your life, the things that you don't want will automatically start to fall out of your life. Whenever I talk to people about diet, I never say go on a diet. Don't get rid of this, don't get rid of that. Introduce nourishing foods into your diet, and the bad stuff will automatically start to fall out. The same with any habit that you don't want. Start to cultivate the things that you do want. If you focus on the negative, if you focus on the things that you want to get rid of, if you focus on the alcohol or the cigarettes or the unhealthy foods, guess where your attention goes, and guess where your actions follow? On those things that you are fighting. Simplify your practice. Wake up early in the morning. Breathe through the nose. And watch the breath. No fancy breath work. Just notice, am I breathing in through my nose? Am I breathing out through my nose? Very mindful of the breath. And then get out in nature. Get out in nature and watch, if possible, watch the sun come up. Say thank you for everything that happens, because everything is teaching you something. Let your breath become your meditation. When you sit, whatever posture is comfortable for you, your back straight but not rigid. Notice the breath going in. Notice the breath going out. Notice the breath going in. Notice it going out. And then you're going to have a bunch of thoughts. And you're going to be saying, shoot, I'm supposed to be thinking about the breath. What a perfect opportunity to practice patience and kindness. Simply come back to the breath. Do that for 5 minutes and then forget about it. Go about your day. You've planted, as you know, the word sankalpa in Sanskrit, entering an intention. Your breath work in the morning, just that nasal breathing, being out in nature, and that meditation practice on the breath has set the intention of gentleness, of patience, of love and kindness, and it will blossom. You've planted the seed, it'll blossom through the rest of your life. For asana practice, something simple. Uh, I know you have an extensive asana routine. I have about 30 minutes. I've been on my own members channel, I've been offering little 5 minute, 10-minute yoga
Yes.
asana practices to do in the morning because everyone gets overwhelmed by how much I need to do when they think about starting something new. 3 yoga poses. And if you don't know a good one, talk to Goga. He can help. Talk to anyone who does yoga and say, I want something very easy and simple that I can do in the morning. I honestly, what I did this morning, I did a little video, was sun salutation for 2 rounds, garland pose, the deep yogic squat, child pose, and then go outside and take a walk in nature, and you're good to go.
Awesome.
That would be it.
I'm just trying, I'm listening in and I'm just like amazing. I like how you say simplify your practice. Simplify your practice and just try to bring in simplicity into the practice. Because I think sometimes most of us overthink and then it becomes like a whole thing there. So thank you so much for saying that. I was satisfied with the answers. Okay, thank you so much, Ifeanyi. I love that one. Skistosis says Eric has knowledge beyond wisdom. Truly inspirational. Oh my goodness, I love that compliment. I love that compliment.
Thank you, Skits.
It's very sweet. And then I was asking what the guest. Oh yeah, Althea, the guest is Eric, but his channel is called Just a Yogi doing burpees in his basement. His link is pinned up there. Or Nightbot has just dropped his link as well, so you can just connect to him there. Thank you so much for connecting, and thank you so much for the interest. We don't take it for granted. We don't take it for granted. Thank you so much for the interest in also just connecting to him. So I hope that has helped. Let me see if there's anything else I may have missed on the chart. You guys are just saying, guys, if you have any question, I don't see any question. Meaning Eric was very exhaustive. He's such a teacher as well. I like how he's very, yeah, there's a way he just teaches and you want to listen to him all day. Eric, so the last question, have you always been demure?
Is that your question, or did someone else ask that?
No, that's my question. That's just me now. That is just me asking my question now.
You know what? Yes. As a matter of fact, I have fought against my own nature in the past. I try to be something other, but I am a naturally quiet, easygoing person for the most part. Mocha would tell you that in almost 23 years, I think she said before, she's heard me raise my voice once. And it surprised her and shocked her, and she's never forgotten it. I don't even remember why I raised my voice. But yeah, I've always been, I don't know if I would personally use the word demure. I like it. But I've always been quiet. I've always been a quiet person.
Nice. It's refreshing, especially when now in a world where people try to make their point by raising their voice. It's always amazing how you can still make your point with your with your voice measured and mellowed, and yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. All right. Let me see. Give thanks. Thank you. I think this, guys, a good story is good until another one is told. I think this has been an uplifting conversation. I think this has been awesome. I totally, Eric, I don't know that there's anything else you think you left out and you wanted to share with the community, but I feel like this is a great place to, end this conversation. It's been 3 hours of like amazing content, amazing, amazing conversations. And I don't take it for granted. At all. So the last assignment I had for Eric is the raid thing. is the raid thing. I don't know, Eric. Do you want me to do? Do you want us to do this privately, or do you want us to? Do you want to see me do it in real in real life, like right now?
Go ahead and do it now.
Okay, cool.
Who do you got in mind?
Yes, so because I know you've always wanted to like see Goga, how do you do it? How do you do it? So Jace is live, so I'm going to select Jace for the raid. Um, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to share my screen so that you can see how I'm going through the process. I know, and I know you're going to come and replay this tomorrow. This part. So I will share my screen. Let me go to my channel. So guys, I'm going to select the raid and then I come and then we read the affirmation and then we'll end the live stream. All right. And then because Eric and I will have to, we're going to do like bilateral. We have to talk behind the studio briefly, just to debrief. And then, so I'll end the live stream and then we'll all leave at the same time, but we are going to leave on the raid. We're going to leave on the raid. Helen,
I'm going to step off camera for just an instant.
Okay.
And I'll come right back.
All right. Helen, are you still on the chat? 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 Skitosis, guys, connect to Skitosis as well. Skitosis is also another amazing person from Eric's community. Thanks, Goga. Much love to you, Eric, and all your community. I hope you have a wonderful week. Stay smiling. Thank you so much, Skitosis. Thank you so much. And guys, just stay there. I am going to send you on a flight. I'm going to send you on a very beautiful flight. Natecho, the traveler, welcome. How you doing, sis? Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for coming in. Appreciate you. So before we go for the raids and go surprise somebody that we don't know, because you know Tribe Goga is all about celebrating greatness on YouTube, and greatness is celebrated by supporting people that we may not really know. So I'm going to use this opportunity also to introduce you to somebody that you don't know on the YT streets. I also want to take this opportunity to like send an invitation to all of you for next Sunday. Next Sunday, we shall interrupt normal programming of the Sunday service next Sunday. Next Sunday, I am hosting a party, an event, a state event. You better be there because I'm formally launching the Global Online Giants Academy. I am formally launching my academy next Sunday. YouTube gave me an academy, but I've never formally announced it. I've never like announced it nicely through a party. It's not a privilege that a lot of people get for YouTube to give you an academy. So YouTube gave me an academy 2 months ago. So I said I will wait until my birthday, which is next week, and then I can launch the academy. So we are officially launching the academy next Sunday. So next Sunday, we shall interrupt normal programming for the Sunday service to accommodate the celebration and the event. You are all invited. The dress code is, Eric almost came in with the dress code. The dress code is blue with a touch of yellow, whatever it is. The panel will be open to anybody. The theme of the event is celebrating our milestones for such a time as this. The theme has been inspired by the book of Esther in the Bible. You know, when Esther was having a conversation with her uncle Mordecai, and Mordecai told her that, you know, you may have come into a royal position for such a time as this. So we are celebrating greatness on YouTube for such a time as this. That is the theme of the party next Sunday. So get on your outfits. The panel will be open. Get your nice speech. Get your whatever thing that you want to share with the community. Let us come and celebrate YouTube greatness on Sunday next week, the 3rd of November. All right. So that said, I'm going to allow, Eric is going to sign out. Eric is going to sign out formally because I know he has to sign out because I will edit the live stream after where he signed out and then that remains. But before that, and then we are going to go to for the raid. So we go surprise somebody on YouTube. We are going to surprise Jace. He's very busy working out. He has no idea that the raid is coming. So we are going to surprise him so that we can help him get some bit of watch hours as well as he's doing his workout. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the raid while Eric is here because Eric has always been fascinated and wants to learn about the raid. So I'm going to show him how to do the raid. Eric, we are going to go to your channel. So your channel was open. So just pay attention to my screen. So that is Eric's channel, guys. So those of you who have not connected to Eric, thank you so much, guys. I see you've gotten him to 6.27. He's on the road to 6,300. If you don't have Eric I want us to get him to 6,300. So I know we got him to 6K last time, and you guys did an amazing job at that. So yeah, round off those numbers for me. 6.27, only 30 to go, and he'll be at 63. So make sure you do it if you have not connected to him. So Eric, you just open your studio on YouTube like that. So you open your studio, then you click on content. This one you do it on a computer, though I know you're normally live on your phone. You open your live stream, you go to the live section on studio, and then you click on the active live stream. So like this live stream where Eric and I are, so we click on this live stream. Sorry, I want to go back there. That can be misleading. I want you to click on the pencil. Just hover over the live stream and then click on this pencil. And then it will open this live stream, the details and things like that. Then I want you to click on customization. Once you click on customization, you just scroll all the way down until you see this button written redirect. So I'm going to delete this temporarily. So you click on that button redirect, and then you will see search your videos, and then you will see search videos from other channels. You click on search videos from other channels. You will see everybody who is live right now. You can see everybody who is live right now, and then you can make a decision to choose one person. But because I know most of these people are doing silent live streams, and Jace is on the panel. So Jace, I like picking people who are on the panel and they're looking for their watch hours. So I don't see Jace here, but I can search for Jace. So sometimes you can just find out who is live. So you see Jace is live. So it can pick it. I select Jace's channel and then I save. And voila, I am done. So as soon as we end this live stream, everybody who is on this live stream right now is going to be automatically thrown to Jace's live stream. It's awesome. It's a very good way of supporting people passively and also helping people grow. So that's what we are going to do shortly. But before that, I'm going to ask Eric just to give a final word. And then I will read the affirmation, and then we can go for the raid. And today the raid button is going to be Goga and Yogi raid. Goga and Yogi raid, 3 purple hearts. I don't know that any of my mods are there to type for me that Goga and Yogi raid. It's a double raid today. So we go surprise Jace with the raid. I will do that as Eric is doing his final. Okay, Eric, I'll put you on solo layout just for you to sign off, and then we will prepare for the raid.
All right, so I'll be quick about it, as I want to get over there and help Jace, and I want to see that look of surprise on his face when everyone shows up.
But make sure you don't leave the stream yet. I want us to debrief after I've ended the live stream. Just stay there.
Right. So the one ending that I'm going to say is, I was a caregiver for my mom during Alzheimer's for 10 years, and then a caregiver for my father in his final years. When my father passed away, I thought to myself, what does a caregiver do when the object of their care is no longer present? And it occurred to me that the role of a caregiver never ends. Now it's open. I have to care about everyone and everything. If you show up in my live stream, if you were here in Jason's live stream, I care about you. And if you need help meditating or breath work, or if you need a friend, then I care and I'm there. And that's it, guys.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So thank you so much, Eric, for the, just hold on. Thank you so much, Eric, for the gift of fellowship. This has been illuminating. How do you feel about the Sunday service? I know you said you had a bit of a mini anxiety, but it was so easy. It was just a conversation, like we were hanging out at your house or something, right?
Let me give another shout out to our friend Eric Lapointe. And when I mentioned, well, I am a little anxious, a little nervous about having this type of conversation, which I actually haven't done before. And Eric Lapointe said, you're talking with Goga. And there you go. End of anxiety. A little bit of nervous, but I would remind myself, I'm talking with Goga. How can anything go wrong talking with Goga? And I mean that sincerely. So first off, big thank you to Eric Lapointe for saying that. And then a huge thank you to you for just being you and giving me this opportunity to hang out with you.
Thank you so much. And it was such an honor having you also at the Sunday service, because the Sunday service is a space to inspire. It's a space to. I like what you said about caregiving. That last thing you said at the end. It's also like a space to offer that care in whatever form it may look like, because somebody somewhere needed to hear this conversation, and I'm glad that the divine used you as a vessel for this conversation. Thank you so much for the fellowship. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for these amazing insights, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have Eric, the link is still pinned up there. Grab him, grab him. You want to. You will be able to catch up on his live streams every single day. Eric, just a quick question. What are the times you do your live streams? Like, just give us like a time indication.
5 a.m. every morning, Eastern Standard Time, 1 p.m. every afternoon, and about 5:20 or so in the evening to wrap things up.
And another thing that you forget about Eric, he also sleeps very early.
I do.
He sleeps very early. He sleeps at 7. I find it very fascinating. Some of us are getting from work at 7, but anyway.
It's part of being weird.
I love it. It's a superpower. It is. Thank you so much, Eric. It was such an honor having you, and feel very welcome anytime. This is like your home now, and my community loves you. And I think you've already seen this enough. So thank you so much for also just holding the space and agreeing for us to do this. And thank you for being the final guest for the month of October. This is what we needed. We needed this. We needed this kind of conversation around forgiveness, healing, towards a path to inner peace. So thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Eric is going to drop off stage, but we are going to raid, and he'll be there with you guys on the raid because he's on his computer. It will automatically throw us there. So I'm going to read the affirmation, and then we can go surprise Mr. Jace. Oh no, he's ended his live stream. Oof, I have to pick another person.
I think he's still going, isn't he?
Is there any other person you can recommend? He just ended.
Oh.
Yeah. Oof. That flight would have crashed, guys. So that is the importance of checking. So the good thing I had him on a different tab. So
hey, no, not yet. I think Optimob might be going live soon.
Let me see Optimob. Let me see.
He's live.
He's actually live. He's having a premiere. Let us surprise Optimob. That's actually perfect. And he just started it. So yeah, that's thank you, Eric. That's a good suggestion. Let me just go change it real quick. It just uses the same logic. I hope he's readable though, because if he's not readable, that will be a bummer. Oh, he's readable. Yay, he's readable. Awesome. It's going to be a success. Yeah, it's a premiere. Let us go surprise him on his premiere. I think this is a request Eric had made earlier. So let us go surprise him in his premiere. You're going to type that comment, Yogi and Goga read. Yogi and Goga read. I just dropped it there. Yogi, and let me pin it up there on the chat. Yogi and Goga read. That's what you're going to type when you land at Mr. Timo and Sabine's. All right. Okay, so I will now read the affirmation, and then we can go. Eric, just stay there. It's fine. We'll live together. Okay, so we are going to surprise Timo. So I will read the affirmation, and affirmations are you guys love these affirmations to start your week. So I will do it. I will do it for you. So this is the affirmation, guys, before we leave, and I'm going to turn that music by Eric up a bit. Okay, so this is the affirmation. I'm reading from Aisha's book on self-healing and growth. And Aisha says, there is power in surrendering. in letting things happen as they are, in accepting the reality of life, in allowing yourself to take deep breaths, just as Eric guided us earlier, in letting go of people who wish to leave, in appreciating what you have, in being present in the moments that warm your heart, and in sitting in silence for a few minutes. It's liberating and it's enlightening. Sometimes the answer lies not in doing more and pushing forward, but in simply being, letting yourself flow along the currents of life and seeing where it takes you. It's exhausting to wake up every single day and repeat the same old routine, doing things you don't always enjoy. At times, we may not have the choice to change our lives, at least not for a while. But perhaps when our souls feel heavy, we can choose to notice the little things in life that are beautiful. Maybe this is how we gather the strength to take one step after another. Maybe this is how we find meaning in what we do. And therein lies the power of surrender. Ladies and gentlemen, this was your host, Goga, and my co-host, Eric, signing out of the Sunday service. It was such an honor having each and every one of you here. Let us brace ourselves for the flight to Switzerland from both Kenya and the United States. Thank you so much, guys, for the gift of fellowship. We will see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys. Namaste. Enjoy your flight to Switzerland. All right, let's go. I will turn that music up a bit as we end in the stream.
Yogi 24/7, guide us through the day, finding peace in moments, show us all the way, helping hands and kindness, spread them all around, in the heart of nature, love is nearly found, breathing in the stillness.